Welcome to XBI Podcast.
Welcome to Xbox Internacional, where I'm one of your hosts, the Crazy Louis Gaming here, guys. So, what are we gonna talk about today, you awesome fellas? What are you all doing today? How are you all doing? Huh?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. Finally, we've been talking about this for over a month or so, and kind of it's finally happening. XBI is here. It's been awesome. We got Halo a couple of weeks ago that we continue to play.
Yes.
And now here, finally, we come together to kind of sit down and just talk games and have a good time. What about you, Brian? What's up?
I'm just excited to be here. Like you said, honestly, it's been in the works for a while, and I'm just happy that we're finally getting this up and running. I'm excited to play some games with you guys more, talk games, and yeah. What about you, Sour Blow?
Super excited, muy emocionado, and just happy to be here with all three of you. I feel like it's we all have different things to bring, and that's gonna make this show very special.
Cool. What about you, Crazy Luke?
Oh man, me? Oh, I'm the most excited of the most. I mean, I'm actually a little bit, I'm a little bit too excited because wow, our very first awesome episode right now. I mean, not an episode though, but the pilot though, and it's gonna be pretty awesome. We're gonna have some awesome discussions today. I mean, we're gonna talk about why we came together to start XBI. We are also going to talk about how we got into gaming, which is a good thing, and talk about a little bit about us. It's gonna be a pretty fun pilot episode. It's gonna be pretty cool. I mean, we got tons of stuff to cover about us, history about gaming, of us getting into gaming and all that stuff. It's gonna be awesome. I mean, we're gonna have loads of fun in this episode. What do you think about that, Brian?
Honestly, I'm a little bit nervous to rehash the past of my video gaming history.
We're gonna find out that Brian likes Barbie horse racing, and he got that easy achievement.
Man. 1,000 achievement points. No, I'm excited, honestly, and in all seriousness, I think it's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to talking gaming.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. I think we definitely want to make sure that we, let our fans know why we created this, right? Why we created XBI, and kind of give us a little gist of who we are, where we came from, what kind of keeps us into gaming. So, I guess Crazy. I know you have all this energy. Tell me, why are you excited about this project and kind of bringing us together for XBI?
Oh, wow. Let me tell you something though. Why am I so excited about this though? I mean, it's pretty amazing that how we came along to this and how we just started talking, because it went back like when you were on the show, right? When you started with Sour Blow talking on the show, and I couldn't come onto the show, and how me and you started this awesome rivalry on YouTube. And then we just sat down one day and Sour Blow was saying, "Hey, Louis, he talked about it for a long time. We were saying we should start a talk show. Not talk show, a podcast on your channel." I was like, okay, let's do this. So we were arguing if we were going to do it in English, we are going to do it in Spanish. We had an argument about it. And at the end, we decided just to do it in English because we already have a Spanish channel. So yeah, and like along the way, our friendships grew better. We got into talking, we got into more hanging out, we got into all this stuff. And we invited you, Mr. Joanna, to join us. And we also invited Brian, which we met along the way playing Forza, because that's all Brian plays. Brian only plays Forza. There's nothing else. Brian plays the Forza.
We're going to have an intervention episode later on. But
yes, we're going to have... Yeah. So yeah, later on we're going to have like this little intervention episode, to help Brian, try to release that Forza love he has, because really that's all he plays. I mean, we call him like, "Hey, Brian, you want to join us to Halo?" No. If we say Forza, he just gets in there right away.
Yeah, he just shows up like out of nowhere, like a magician. Poof.
Yes, and so we sat we sat down and had a great discussion on how we're going to do this awesome show, which we came up with Xbox International because look, we're from different places from the world. I mean, I'm from Dominican Republic. You Mr. Jonah Duggar, from Nicaragua. Brian is from Utah, and also Sour Blow is in between. He's born over the United States and is also Dominican. So we decided with that name because we are all international and we're gonna give our opinions and give our love to everybody around the world on gaming. We're gonna have so much fun on the show, and really, I'm excited about it. It's gonna be great. How about you, Joanna?
Well, I'm gonna pass it over. I'm gonna pass it over to
Oh,
Brian, and to kind of tell us,
oh
why did
yeah,
he decide to join three crazy individuals who kind of do the
yes.
Macarena on Twitter, and just overall join the team and kind of go on this adventure with XBI.
Sour Blow did not do the Macarena on Twitter. It was me and you.
Well, we know Sour Blow's a fraud.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say.
Sour Blow went
Let
into
me hide.
hiding.
Let me hide.
Yeah.
Sour Blow went into hiding. The one that came in, the one that did a Macarena with us was Spooky Sprockets. Shout out to Spooky who did the Macarena with us.
Yep. And then I upped you by bringing my 6-year-old daughter in there to kind of help me.
That's it. That killed me right there. I almost finished right there. That's
I
it
was
for
like,
me.
you got
That
served.
yes, that was my fatality right there. Really,
Got
you
served.
killed me
Exactly.
there. Yes, I did.
Yeah. So back to Brian. So tell us.
Yeah, so I go into podcasting a long time ago. It feels like it's been forever at this point. A couple of my friends and I ended up doing some of XBL radio back in the day, back around when 360 was really starting to blow up,
Okay.
and that was a big thing for us. Unfortunately, I was only around for a couple episodes, and then we found out we were having a kid, and reality struck. And
So
so
is that why Duke Nukem took forever? Got it.
that that is 100% why.
100%.
Development time is really hard when you're having to wake up at 2 a.m. and feed a baby a bottle.
Okay.
But yes, so ended up on a hiatus for a long time. Stayed in communication with those guys for a long time. They kept doing XBL radio. A couple of the guys kind of went off and did their own things. And then I think it was probably about a year ago, they started floating the idea of doing the Gamers Pub, where we just get together, we drink beers, we talk, gaming, movies, music, all that type of stuff. And so got back into it, and unfortunately, life reared its ugly head again, and they kind of got busy. And so I was looking to get into this more. Obviously, back in the day, I was in retail, and that was a thing that I did as a job. And when I got out of that side of things, I still enjoyed talking gaming, but I didn't like having to do it as the job. I wanted it to be the fun thing. I wanted it to be the hobby. And so flash forward 20, almost 20 years later, here we are. And now I'm doing this with you guys, and I was really excited to just get the chance to actually sit down and talk gaming again with some friends and just have fun with the community and just, enjoy talking about all the different stuff that we get to experience and play as gamers. So
Nice.
that's
Nice.
me in a nutshell.
So we got, not only did we get Duke Nukem made forever, we also took him out of retirement and brought him to the podcast. Man,
Hail
what
to
an
the
what an
king, baby.
achievement! There you go. There we go. Sour Blow. Tell us. You got the gaming lobby. I had a chance to, and a privilege to go on there and kind of, have the worst Spanish in the world. Probably, you lost subscribers after that. But tell us,
No. Not at all.
what, tell us why you gave this, idea to Crazy Lou to kind of say, hey, why don't we make XBI an English podcast?
Yeah, well, it was his idea to make it an English podcast. I actually, because we have gaming lobby in my channel, which is in Spanish. I'm always preaching for the Latino community, and I told him you should do content on your channel too, because we want to grow together and do this. We're doing it for fun, but at the same time, I want you to also grow with me. And he decided, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do it in English. That way, we're not like going at it with each other's channel or something like that. We just and there's ways to grow also on the English community. We can grow that way, and we can also help the Spanish community that way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we got it together. We originally actually we even had a name because first it was us two, but we met you on the way, and then he's like, we should bring Joanna into it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm cool. Yeah, he's a great guy. Like I kind of like the way when you went to our show, the way you express yourself, and I have been following you around, and it just clicked, and everything went from there.
Nice, nice. Yeah, no, XBI, I was when I first started, I started a show with my colleague Albert, and we were talking about it. But prior to that, I had no podcast. I met Brian through conversations in the super chats on Miles' show. Shout out to Miles the Goat, on Xbox Chatterday, and Brian's always trying to outdo me with super chats. But like I always say, there's only one rainmaker, and that's me. But
For now.
for years I've always wanted to podcast, and it's crazy, right? I saw all these amazing creators out there, all these amazing channels that I listen to day in, day out, and I'm like, you know what? Every time I listen, the one thing is, you know what? They just got a mic, they got in front of a camera, and they started talking.
I gotta tell you something real quick, because I listen to most of the shows, and I do see you around the chat every time. The thing is that I listen to these shows at work, and I always have seen your name around, Mr. Joanna Dark. But
Yeah, I'm like the dude in the bushes.
Yeah.
No, I you know what? I love listening to people, and I think through the podcast that I listen to, I finally said to my colleague Albert, hey, can we make this happen? And we finally started the Nickel Gaming Show. And it's great because as an Xbox, as I work for Xbox, so everyone knows here for transparency, it was a nice way to kind of sit down with coworkers and talk about why we love the Xbox platform, and maybe other people can come in and learn why the Xbox platform is so great. And then I reached out to Mr. Boom and I said, hey, you know what? I want to start podcasting. I want to start kind of, getting myself into a rhythm to improve. And oh my God, Boom invited me on Primetime Gaming, and it's like somebody coming from the minor leagues into the major leagues with an amazing panel. You got Chaos Sante, Wandering Dutch, Everborn Saga, Middle Age Gamer, and was it nerve-wracking? Sure, but I loved it. And like I said, when you guys told me, hey, would you like to maybe do XBI? I said sure. And the reason I love XBI is because we're all from different parts of the country. Yes, I'm originally from Nicaragua, but I live in New Jersey. New York area. But what most importantly is gaming kind of brought us together, right? Playing Forza, playing Halo. And to me, XBI, I want it to be a show that anyone's invited here. They can come in, we can discuss. Yes, we're going to be really focused on Xbox because all of us prefer the Xbox platform, but we're going to talk about some amazing games on the PlayStation platform, on the Switch, on Nintendo platform. And that's what XBI is all about, right? International. We want to go, doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter if your English is not great. Come join us, enjoy us, maybe make fun of us because, we make funny faces. But I think that's what has me very interested, to be able to, you Sour Blow, you're doing it on the side of the, in the Hispanic community, right? Reaching out and talking about games, and why not? I mean, let's bring more people that can come in and, like us, kind of just talk games. That's what I want to do. That's for me what XBI means to me, and that's why I'm excited to kind of get together and just overall just sit down with you guys on a Wednesday night and just kind of just talk games, be in the chats and everything, and just have a good time.
Yeah, same. Huge shout out to Boom, by the way, on my end too. He actually invited me. I feel really appreciated that he did that. Coming from, like you said, a big channel like his, inviting such a small channel like me, that opportunity really, that's really great of his part.
To anyone here who hasn't checked out Double Barrel Gaming, go check out Mr. Boom. He is an amazing person in the community who really does a lot. if you want to start podcasting, if you want to kind of get yourself out there, he has his platform open, and hopefully one day as XBI grows and hopefully grows into more, we want to do the same, right? We want to open up the doors for everyone to come on the show,
Yep.
and see how we can make this show as accessible as possible to anyone. Because XBI, we're Mr. Worldwide, Mrs. Worldwide, whatever you want to call it. So we're definitely there. But I guess it's a good way to kind of segue into kind of the next part of the show, which is kind of our gaming origins. What was that console that bit us like the spider that bit Spider-Man,
wow.
and got us into this hobby that we now are in and we continue to enjoy. So, who can we start with? So you know what? Since Duke Nukem took forever, we got to start with the Godfather of FPS. Here we go
Yes.
with Brian. So Brian, let's start with you. Tell us what was the first game console and kind of game that kind of introduced you into video games.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so I forget exactly what we were playing around on at the time. I think it was something silly like an Atari or a Windows 3.1 system at the time. But
Oh wow!
we were doing Joust.
I gotta look for that Windows 3.1 system. Never heard of
Yeah.
that.
Playing the games on the extra large floppies and
Oh
doing all
my
that
God.
stuff. Yeah.
Good lord.
So
I think I have one of those over there hidden somewhere.
it's what was it? It was like a 6.5 inch disc.
It was like this big. It
ridiculous.
was a square
Yeah.
thing like this big.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah,
like
so-
what, 6 megabytes or something like that.
If that,
Yeah,
It's
probably
probably
not
less
that.
realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so one of the ones, of course, I played a bunch when I was a kid was Joust. Joust was
Wow.
abusive. It was a great game, but it was hard. And I remember wasting so many hours on that game when I was a kid. And moving on from there, my brother ended up going into the military, and he left me. Granted, I played Nintendo and other stuff like that, but the most memorable to me after that was shifting into the Super Nintendo,
Okay.
because he had left me his entire collection of games and stuff. So I had, a 7 or 8 year old kid sitting there with Mortal Kombat 2, with Zombies Ate My Neighbors, with Street Fighter, stuff like that.
So
And-
Brian, wait. You said Mortal
Yes.
Kombat. How much did it bother you that the Super Nintendo version had dust versus blood on the Genesis?
Oh lord.
See, okay, now this is something that I might have just pushed out of my memory, because I don't recall that. I don't recall that
Yeah,
whatsoever.
so the Super Nintendo one was censored, but not to deviate from
I
from the
didn't
thing,
even
but
know
yes.
that, honestly.
Yeah,
No,
they censored it.
honestly,
I didn't know
I don't even recall that. Did they do the same thing for Doom? Because I remember playing Doom on Super Nintendo also, and I think that had blood.
That had
No,
blood, but for
it
some
did?
reason, yeah,
For some reason, they didn't do that with blood.
yeah, for some reason, after at some point, Mortal Kombat was censored on the Super Nintendo, and they didn't. It was like dust. It had like dust when you punched the people. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what? Thinking about like when I was playing that on the arcade, actually, I remember that even with just some of the arcade ports going, down the road later on. But one of the big ones for me was Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I don't know if you
Oh,
guys
great
have ever
title.
played that
Yes,
game.
it's a
Yeah.
great title.
Again, another abusive game. That's a hard game as time goes on, and those bosses are just unbeatable in some situations.
And I guess for our audience that maybe we have some people that maybe never even tried it. What is Zombies Ate My Neighbors, to kind of give a description of that?
Yes, so Zombies Ate My Neighbors was basically almost like a top-down 2D shooter, just roaming around, and you're trying to collect your neighbors. You're trying to protect them from the zombie onslaught, essentially. And it was a ridiculous thing. You ended up facing against like a 50-foot baby or something like
Yeah, I
that.
remember that. Yes.
Ridiculous bosses. It was
It-
super over the top, but it was honestly, personally for me, it was those times when Konami was in the spotlight and when I really enjoyed their games. Like obviously as things went on in their gaming history, things changed and they got out of the business quite a bit, and obviously they've deviated how they're approaching things now. But I look back at stuff like that, and while it was kind of a niche game, that was a Konami game, and it was great. And I remember seeing that logo every time that I started that game up, and it resonated with me for a long time. And that's why I was so. What's
So
that?
the Super Nintendo was Zombies Ate My Neighbors, Mortal Kombat were kind of those two defining games for you.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Sorry, I spent a lot of time on that one.
So now,
Um,
so now, what was your next console after the SNES?
So I spent a pretty good time not actually buying anything for a bit. I grew up in kind of a middle class neighborhood, middle class house and stuff, and my family was very keen on just being like, you have Super Nintendo, you have a computer, you don't need to get consoles. So I spent a lot of time on Worms Armageddon on PC.
Oh, okay,
Wow,
okay.
I used to play a
Wow,
lot of
Worms.
Worms. Worms is one of
Yes.
my favorite games. I mean, you got to
It's
think
so
what am I
good.
gonna do? The grenade. What was it? The holy grenade? Oh
The
man, that was
Holy Hand Grenade, yep.
the holy
Yep.
grenade.
And
Yes.
it was so good. And again, another one that I wasted countless hours on as I was a
Yeah.
kid. We got into the situation with that game where we were making like special, unique little maps where you could like super rope through them and do these races. And I don't know, it got nerdy very fast. But flash forward after that, I shifted to a PS1. My friends
Okay,
had N64, so I never ended up buying one. I lived vicariously through them. I played GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, all that stuff at their house. And
nice.
that was where I was kind of indoctrinated into those type of games. But the next one for me was PlayStation 1, and the very first game I got for it was Metal Gear. And I
Okay.
Oh,
spent
nice.
a
Qu-
long time on Metal Gear.
so did you ever get to try the demo of Metal Gear?
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
100%.
I
Yeah.
went to my local shop and paid $15 for that demo.
Really?
$15. Yes. And
Oh
my
man.
yeah. Yes,
See,
so continue. Sorry, Metal. Yep.
I remember because early on I had my PlayStation Magazine subscription and stuff, so I was getting my demo discs, I was trying all that stuff, and I remember being blown away when we had the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo too. Um,
Yes.
I remember getting the disc, I think also at my local Game Crazy before I worked there, with Zone of Enders.
Yes, Zone of the
And
Enders.
yeah, and it was so good. And Zone of Enders also, like, sometimes we see pack-ins where the demo that they provide with the game was just to get you into the door. That
Yep.
one though, Zone of the Enders was great on
Yep.
its own. But yeah, so I bounced from there, and then I stayed Sony pretty much through PS2, and
So,
then I bounced over to
um,
Xbox.
so besides Metal Gear, what was the
Yes,
other kind of game that defined for you the PlayStation 1 era for you?
PlayStation 1 era for me.
So you had Zombies Ate My Neighbors on the NES, and you had
Yeah,
your Mortal Kombat. So you had Metal Gear and what else?
you know, honestly, I'm kind of drawing a little bit of a blank. I think it was mainly Gran Turismo at that point. I,
Okay.
I honestly at that point I was still kind of straddling that line. I was on PC and I was on console at the same time, so I hadn't fully shifted over console at that point.
What were you playing on
But
PC at the time?
PC at that point, I think what we were playing Delta Force at that point. We were playing more Worms Armageddon. One of the ones that got me wrapped up for a long time in single player was Clive Barker's Undying.
Yes, that's a great game. Oh my god.
It is a wonderful game. It's
Wow.
I wish that they do a remake of that game, but unfortunately it's an EA title, and we know how some of those ones get neglected every now and then.
Mhm, mhm.
Fortunately, we're seeing Dead Space come back, we're seeing Skate. I doubt we're gonna see another Clive Barker's though. Unfortunately.
It,
Um
it was ahead of its time with like first person kind of narrative driven game. Like it was really good for at the time. The
yes.
way games were, yes, I love the Undying. It was really scary too.
Really good. horror story on that thing too. It had a lot of good jump scares to it. All the characters in that were really well cast, and honestly, for the time, the graphics were really good. I
Yes.
mean, obviously they don't hold up now, but you go back and you're playing those games back in the day, and it looked lifelike.
Yes.
It was shocking. Those were some of our first forays into realistic graphics at that point in time.
Yeah, before we had Nvidia and AMD, we had Voodoo, remember?
Yes, yes,
The Voodoo cards,
100%.
yes.
Yep, that was the approachable card at
Cool.
that
So,
point in time.
all right, so you got PlayStation, all right, PC.
Yes.
What's next?
So like I said, I bounced over to PS2, which a lot of it's a blur, with the exception of Metal Gear games, and I played a ridiculous amount of SSX online. I played SSX 3
Okay.
all the time online, which a lot of fun. And honestly, I wish we'd see another iteration of that game, because snowboard games don't do it the same as they did it back then.
SX is a classic. Unfortunately, music licensing, that's what's killing these
No.
type of games.
I know. I'm really happy to see that we have SSX. We have two of them in back compat on Xbox, which is really
Yeah.
cool. So I've been playing some of those again, going back to them, of which I forgot how hard they are. Again, not
Yep.
realizing how hard some of those games were that we grew up on. I don't know if it's just because I've become soft over the years or what, but
You
they're
gotta play some
difficult.
Dark Souls. Then you're
I
gonna be
know.
good.
I know. I gotta toughen up. I gotta get some calluses, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
Lord.
yeah, so moving from there, I bounced on to Xbox right around that time. PS2
Okay.
had the big debacle with the DVD drives failing constantly, and I had gone through about 5 or 6 of the consoles before I just decided, all right, I'm done for the time being. And so I kind of shifted to Xbox because I had a bunch of friends that got me involved in playing Halo. And of course, at that point, we didn't have multiplayer. So I was playing X Connect, and we were, forcing multiplayer into Halo across the internet, which was a lot of fun. As time went on from there, we shifted to Halo 2, and then just kind of followed that path. And honestly, for the longest time, Halo was kind of the big draw for me when it came to Xbox. That was kind of the big go-to for me. Third-party stuff was fine, but I was still kind of, again, I was in the Sony camp, I was PC, so I could still access those third-party games previously. And
So
Yeah.
out of the OG Xbox, right? As we're
Mhm.
talking Xbox,
Yeah.
Halo 2, everything you call third party.
Mhm.
What were your, I guess, top 3 games that kind of, as we gonna hopefully shift into where we go with 360 or anything like that, that kind of said, hey, I like this platform.
so, okay. So the ones I spent probably the most time on, realistically, so Halo, of course. Rainbow Six 3 was
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
massive for
Oh,
us. You know,
he played that a
playing
lot too.
yeah, playing Terrorist Hunt online, playing that was one of the first ones. I remember getting that game, and I think that game actually came with the headset at the time. And so, or it was either that one or it's the other one that I was gonna say, which is Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was
Those
so
were the
good.
three. Those were the
Okay.
three, and the amount of time spent on those games, I honestly, I wish we had a ticker, kind of like what we have now, where we could see our stats on the games, because I'm sure I wouldn't want to know, but I kind of want to know how many hours I wasted on those games at that point in time.
Did KOTOR never stick with you? Knights of the Old Republic?
No, for some reason, at that point in time, I wasn't really into the turn-based RPGs and stuff like that. It was something that I kind of got to later on in time, but early on, I was very much that first-person shooter guy. I was third-person action. I enjoyed some racing, but at that point, we didn't have Forza, so I hadn't fully shifted to that side of things.
But we had Project Gotham Racing.
That's true, and I didn't play Project Gotham really until we got to Xbox 360.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were more of a cell damage guy.
Yes, Cell Damage was good. Honestly, Breakdown was really good too.
Yes, Breakdown
Breakdown
was
was
another
fun.
good one. Yes,
Yes.
exact. That was a good one too.
Yeah.
So, so after the Xbox, OG Xbox, did you go straight into the Xbox 360, or did you
Yes.
go back to PC and say, "Hey, let me wait"?
No, so I bounced right to 360 after that. I was still playing some. I was playing some PC at that point. I think I had just upgraded my computer again, so I had a fresh rig. Obviously, you could play a lot of cool games on there at the same time. I was playing Fear. I was playing, Prey. I was
Fear.
playing all those things while playing the console versions at the same time, and it was, God, it was so much fun. Like to see the amount of tech that they crunched into the Xbox 360, like that thing chugged a lot of detail for what it was. It was a small box that packed a bunch of power. Um, I shifted right to that, honestly. I had actually just had surgery on my wrist like 2 months before or no, actually 2 weeks before the system came out. And
Oh
so I
wow.
was playing Halo with the guys, and I was kind of shorthanded, if you will.
Okay.
And so I still wanted to play Halo at the time, so I ended up getting paper towel and wadding it up under the left stick. So I was constantly moving forward, but I'd use my other hand as like the pistol grip, and I'd
Oh
move with
wow.
this one, move my camera and everything. And so I couldn't use this arm whatsoever. So I was stuck just playing one handed. And like picking up the console in the winter with one hand, jumping onto Halo, one hand, for the first little bit of 360, I was a little bit out. But once I finally could use my hand again, I started playing a bunch of the games that were coming out, Condemned, stuff like that.
That's another classic. Condemned. Yes.
It was so good. I couldn't
Yeah.
play Dead or Alive for a long time. I was very frustrated with that, but you need both hands for that sucker.
Yeah,
But
especially if
no,
you want to pull out those moves
We
with Hayabusa.
we
Oh man.
yeah,
we,
yep,
we need a new Condemned. I mean, I played the
I
heck out of
know,
that game. That game is awesome. I mean, I
I
remember the
know.
first one, the second one, and just I was like, when is the third one coming out? I hope they really take a look at it because it was pretty cool.
Take a remake at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll take a
anything. I
remake.
mean, yeah, I mean, I played a lot of that game and I really enjoyed it. It's
mhm.
actually one of my favorite 360 games. Really, it was. It's
It was so
incredible.
good. And
Yeah.
again, going back to the graphics and visuals and stuff, you
Yep.
look at what
Yep.
that game was doing. Even
Yep.
just, I think it was the first time that I looked down at the ground and I
Hmm.
saw the detail of all the dirt and grit and grime that was on the ground. And it was insane. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't see that in the old bitmaps and stuff like that. You started seeing the bump mapping technology. You started to see some of those effects. And it was so good. It
Yeah.
was really, really
E-
impressive.
even
Bri-
even the surroundings, like how dark it was and everything, it was
Mhm.
all of that. We were like, wow. I mean, you were a police detective for like searching for this killer, and yeah, it was mad crazy. All of a sudden, the guy calls it like, oh wow, you
Yeah.
wow, it was incredible.
On,
Really, it was incredible.
honestly, to this day, there's only been a handful of games that have done it in the same fashion that
Yes.
Monolith did back at that point in time.
Yep.
So,
Monolith is such a talented, development team and overall studio.
yes.
Fear, which you kind of went over.
Yep. Yep.
So did you ever? And I guess as we continue this journey into Brian's gaming overall journey. Did you ever get a PS3? Did you ever get a second job?
Actually, so this dives into something that you might touch on later, but right around that same time, so I was working at the now defunct Game Crazy, which was tied to Hollywood Video. It was the game
Yeah.
store, and at the time, so I had just gotten the 360. The Wii was obviously super hard to get at the time. I was able to snag that as well. And then one of my coworkers bought a PS3 and he decided he didn't like it pretty early on. So he sold it to me for a ridiculous price. So I did get into it and I ended up playing Heavenly Sword. I was on my Metal Gear Solid 4. I went through the motions with that system. I played some of the Uncharted, but
Nice.
it didn't hold me. because I did not have the online community that I had
Yeah.
grown up with on 360.
Of course.
So then obviously, I was from one, I bounced back over, and then I followed the line on that as time went on. As soon as the Xbox One was announced, despite all of the hate that it got for the specific features and functionality that they were aiming for, I was on it because everyone that I knew, everyone that I played with was already on Xbox anyways, so it was kind of a non-factor for me.
Did you have
Um,
any? Did you have any friends that left the Xbox community, maybe went to PlayStation that you might have lost on your team?
yes, yeah, I definitely had quite a few people that ended up bouncing off of Xbox to later return. I think right around maybe 2017 or 2018 is when we heard about the One X, right? That was when that launched. So for a long time, I was missing a grip of folks. That being said, I always played games with my brother. So when all the Call of Duties came out, we were always playing those. And I still had a group of friends that had stayed on that side of things, so it didn't affect me as much as I was thinking it might. Obviously, the decision of like, hey, if you want a system that has all the functionality you're looking for, that's the Xbox 360. That famous tagline from Don Matrick. That was not a good feedback for people looking to buy a new console. And so yeah, I had a lot of friends go to PC, but I still had a core grip of gamers that were still playing on Xbox at the time.
And
And
and I guess I think you made a good point, right? You've always throughout your story,
mhm,
you've always you've played these consoles, but in the background you had your PC, right?
yes,
So you said right when the 360 came and the Xbox One was launched, despite the messaging and everything that went bad, you
yep.
still stuck with the Xbox One. So I guess my question is, um, since you played on the PC, did the graphics, did the fact that there was I guess a disparage in graphics that at the time PlayStation 4 was a more capable device at the moment compared to the
Mhm.
Xbox One, did that bother you, especially being a PC player?
No.
Okay.
So I played the upgrade game for a long time with the PC. I had a lot of fun building them. I used to be in the IT side of things, building computers, repairing computers. So that was something that I knew, and it was fun. But that being said, as my kids started growing up and life started getting busy, realistically, I wanted to get home and just play games. And so having those prerequisites of like, oh, well, is this going to play at the best settings? Is this going to play at all? Is
Yep.
this compatible? Stuff like that was frustrating to me because you know how it goes. Like, especially at this point in our life, as a parent, you don't have a lot of time to play games anyways. So the
Yep.
last thing you want to do is get frustrated trying to figure out settings all the time just to make it work. And I know they've made it better over the years, but it just was one of those things. It's like I use a computer all day for work. I used a computer a lot for my previous job, and it's hard for me to sit down in front of a computer and just relax and play the same way that I do on a console. When you sit me down in front of a TV, I am able to focus on that, and everything else is cut out, which I think is great. Honestly, it's ideal for us adults that we need to get out of our heads every now and then and
Yep.
just kick back, and having the stimulation of a phone or a computer where things are popping up all the time is just not ideal in some situations. So so yeah, the graphics thing did not bother me, honestly. Like, the visuals were okay on the Xbox One, and then once the One X came out, I bought it, and I was really happy with it because it was a significant upgrade, and you could tell that they were trying to correct the ship at that point. That was Phil Spencer coming in being like, "Hey, we want to correct what the decision was previously." And honestly, it was a really good C turn. Like, you started to see people shift the narrative on that, and it was it wasn't, oh, the system's not strong enough or anything like that. It was, okay, well, now they don't have games. So then
Yeah.
as time went on, the focus started to change, and flash forward to now.
Yep.
Now we're on the Series X and Series S, and we're getting a deluge of games all the time. Like, we're seeing a ton of stuff now, and even though it's not all from Microsoft alone, we are seeing games come out now.
Now, did you get a PS4 eventually and play some of the games on there as well?
I did not.
Okay.
No, I bounced past the PS4 at that point in time, honestly, and especially now. I shifted into my digital catalog more than physical discs. And so I kind of made the decision. I was like, if I already have a library that's X hundred games large, I'm going to stick with that one because everything that I have is with me. And once they introduced that back compat was going to be a thing, and we started down that path, I was like, it all comes with me. So realistically, it makes the most sense for me to stay in that ecosystem because everything that I play, especially now, everything that we play looks better. It looks better, it plays better. And it just made sense to me. Like, my budget's not always super exorbitant. And so the idea of being able to have my games come with me and just go down that path is great.
Yep.
So
It's funny as I'm listening as well. We continue to listen to your origin story. Not once did I hear you talk about. Did you know what a Sega Master System was or Genesis? Did you have a Dreamcast? I'm, and the reason I'm asking is because as I've heard a lot of origin stories,
Yeah.
many people that have come to the Xbox platform were huge fans of the Dreamcast, and prior to that, were huge fans of the Genesis. So, as you can see, a lot of us Sega persons, right, have a history now as we go into. So, did you ever even play Sonic or even looked at the Dreamcast and played anything on there?
So I guess I did skip certain parts of my past, but so no, I never had a Dreamcast. I never had a Genesis. I had some friends that had a Genesis.
Sure.
Didn't really have any friends at the time that had a Dreamcast. I did spend a ton of time on Game Gear. So
Okay.
I played a bunch of Sonic on Game Gear. I
God
played
bless.
Ren and
God,
Stimpy
God
on
bless.
Game
God bless.
Gear, Aladdin on Game Gear. Yeah, I had my portable time in life where I spent a little bit of time with that. I played some Pokemon, Tony Hawk when they brought
Nice.
that out on the Game Boy Advance, and then worked my way into obviously like the DS and stuff. But that side of the portable approach just never really stuck with me, and I didn't play a lot of Sega. Sorry. That's kind of a blinding.
Crazy and sour blow. We're gonna have to rethink about Brian on the show now.
You're finding kind of a blinding gap in my history of video.
So we could transition to the next guest, right? To the next person. My final question to you is, what are your top 5 games that sort of defined your gaming history overall? Those games that just kind of said, you know what, this is why I continue to just game overall.
Oh man, that one's a hard one over this many years, but I would definitely say Command and Conquer is one that always stuck out with me. I'm a big fan of that series, and I don't know why I didn't mention it earlier, but that one, again, I wasted a lot of hours on those series.
Red Alert 2, did you play Red Alert 2? Oh man, that was one of my favorites.
Yes.
Red Alert 2.
Red Alert 2.
I remember carrying all the computer cases, going to Prince's house, doing LAN parties. Oh, it was crazy.
Remember CNC Renegades? I don't know if you remember that, Brian.
Yeah. I do.
Oh, it was a terrible but awesome game.
I've got a disc copy sitting about 5 feet away from us. So yeah, I remember it. Not
Command and Conquer. Okay, Command and Conquer.
So Command and Conquer was a really big one for me. I think Rainbow Six is one that makes it to that list for me because honestly, a lot of the people that I spent time with for years and years on the systems, it came from playing Rainbow Six. Carried a ton of people forward with me for years after playing that game. And a
Okay.
lot of those people eventually shifted to Halo with us and stuff.
Rainbow Six Vegas, man. Oof, remember that.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Vegas was so good at the
Yeah.
time. And Vegas 2 was really good, but it just kind of felt like it was a little bit a half step. It wasn't like a full sequel, you know.
Yeah.
So
that's we got
so
two.
that's 2. Number 3. You know, I'm gonna have to say Metal Gear Solid, probably.
Ooh, yes.
Because Metal Gear got me through a lot of time as a kid. I spent so much time on that thing. Like I said, that was the first game I had with the PS1. So I ended up playing that. I ran through the entire game from start to finish over a night when I first got it. My parents ended up buying me a 5-pound bag of Mike and Ike's. And I sat there and I was just munching on Mike and Ike, so I was hammering through that game. And I remember finishing it, and the first thing that I could think, like when I saw them ride off at the very end, I was like, I want to play this again. And then I found out that there were other things you could do. Like if, obviously, I mean, we're far enough in spoiler town now that I could say something. Right?
Put it this way: if somebody hasn't played Metal Gear at this point, then I don't know where you've been, or maybe you were hiding in a rock. So we will spoil Metal Gear. You will find out that Crazy Lou is actually the father of Solid Snake.
Yes.
Yes, I am the father. Yes.
He is Big Boss, just chilling in Dominican Republic.
Yes.
Right. So 20 plus years later, spoilers. If you save Otacon versus if you save Meryl, I think it was.
Yep.
You ended up getting different rewards.
Yep.
And so I wanted to try it with the bandana. I wanted to try it with the camo, or I think it was camo, right?
Yes.
And so I ended up going back through those and playing them immediately, because it was just, at that point we didn't have a lot of new game plus in games. And so that kind of stood out to me as a cool thing. But to continue on.
And so besides now we're gonna move. You got 3.
Yes.
I'm gonna stop there. But what is the best Metal Gear to you? Because we're gonna debate this later when we go through some of my history. What is your favorite Metal Gear? Is it Survive?
Yes, it's 100% Survive. That was
First one.
That was bar none my favorite thing ever. I wish they would make 3 more of those. No. I'm torn between 1 and 2, because
pick one, you coward. Pick one.
You know what? I will say number 2.
Okay.
And that might be divisive.
Okay.
But I've got emotional ties to that game, and also just it changed the formula. It threw in a surprise that none of us expected. So
Sour Blow was in the game.
Sour Blow was in the game. I was like, Sour Blow, what are you doing here?
You didn't see him because Vamp took him out at the beginning of the scene.
Yeah, 100%.
But so Metal Gear, cool.
Okay,
now we're
so
up to number
3.
4. Yep.
Sorry,
number 4.
we'll stay focused.
Focus.
So I guess I would be remiss if I didn't say Halo plays a part.
Okay. Halo.
Because again, that was one of the things that got me very hooked in on the Xbox side of things. And I spent so much time getting to know so many cool people. Like that was back in the time when you could jump onto Xbox Live and you could talk to people just in game and not run into terrible people on a regular basis. There were a lot of really cool, honest to goodness fans at that point in time. It was a small ecosystem at that point. And so, you ran into a lot of cool people. I met a lot of people in Australia, New Zealand, people like that I'm still in contact with today, years and years and years later. And so that was cool. So Halo, definitely in there.
Cool. And then finally that number 5.
Man. Barbie Wild Force Adventures 2.
Oh, I knew it! Crazy
No.
Lou's like, why did you take my number 5?
So, man, that
So,
you all broke my heart right there.
so
I was gonna mention that one.
obviously, this one jumps into the scene a lot later than most of the games that I played in my primary years. But Forza Horizon.
Oh, we know.
Um,
Yeah,
We know that.
I mean, it's a given.
I
You
was like,
kind of knew that was
when is
coming.
he gonna say
But
it? Yeah.
I was about to redact number 5 if it wasn't Forza.
yep, yep. No, Forza has been really good for me. Honestly, again, going back to we're adults. We have a lot of things that we do in day to day at our work and all that stuff. And it's really nice to just get away from it all sometimes and just drive. And that game has provided a really cool outlet for me to just go drive cars that I will never be able to afford because I am not a rich man. And that's a lot of fun to me. I enjoy getting to do stuff like that. In that game, I'm the drift king. In reality,
So they call you DK.
yes, they call me DK, Donkey Kong. No, it's in that game, I'm an amazing racer. In reality, I don't want to pay the bills to repair my car.
So you're like Sour Blow, a terrible driver.
Oh Lord, oh Lord.
Hey,
I can
you're
neither
bullying me.
confirm
I
nor
got
deny.
better. I got better.
It got
I
better.
don't know.
It got,
Yeah, it got
all
better.
right.
But that's awesome.
So
And you know what I like that Brian put a lot of games that I don't have to mention now because we kind of have the same like. So,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad I can
um,
help you out then.
so thank you for for sharing that. And now I'm excited to listen to Sour Blow and find out besides being a terrible driver, let's see how if he has
Oh
good
my God.
taste in some of the games. So Sour Blow, before you crash your first car, what was the game that got you? What was the first console that just like you were like, that's it. This is what I'm gonna be doing probably. This is,
Well, before the first console I really got, the first console that I saw, I went to someone's house. I don't remember who house it was, but it was the first Nintendo, the NES. I went to
okay.
someone's house. I just remember I was pretty small, and they were playing the Mario game, and they had the whole gun system with the where you hit the ducks and all that, and I was
Oh,
super amazed with
Duck
it.
Hunt.
Yeah, that with the that's what it's called, duck hunt, when the dog
Yep.
comes out and all that.
Yep.
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 Okay,
Yep.
and I kind of wanted to have it, but at that time, my parents really didn't believe in that, so they weren't gonna buy me that. But later on, I managed to get my first console, which was one of the one that I played the most, which was the Super Nintendo. That was my first console.
Nice. Okay.
I fell in love with that console. The first game I had was I think it was Final Fantasy. I think it was called like Mystic Quest. That it
So
was.
the first, the kind of the first one that was re-released on, yeah, it was re-released from the original. Mystic Quest was kind of like
Yeah,
Final Fantasy. Yeah.
you get like 5 crystals, I believe, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Okay, and I had that was the first game I had. I didn't have any other games, so I kind of replayed that for a while. I replayed it a few times, and I really fell in love with the game. I really liked the Final Fantasy. Then I started getting other games like Mario, Super Mario, of course. I played Killer Instinct with friends. Uh, I played so much games in Super Nintendo. Then I managed to bump into a game that I'm sure Crazy is gonna mention it later on, which is Chronos Trigger.
Oh,
And
Yes.
I
that
love that
game,
game.
The
I
goat of
just
That guy.
RPGs.
love that
Yes,
game.
that's number one in the whole world. That's the one of the best RPGs in the world.
I
No,
think
that's
it's the
number one.
best.
No, it is the best. No joke.
Yeah,
It's number
I just
one.
love that game. And yeah, but that's kind of how I got into gaming with the Super Nintendo. I played a lot of games. I just like Battletoads, so many games in the Super Nintendo, really. And right after that, I made the shift then to the N64.
Okay.
And to me, the N64, even though the NES was kind of the console I played the most, like kind of like more like by myself because at that time I didn't have any brothers or nothing, or I believe my brother was too small, my middle brother. But then when I got the N64, oh my god, that was like the party console. Like you would go to your friend's house, you would play all these like multiplayers. Like there were Let's Get Ready to Rumble,
Man, I love that.
Conquer,
Mario Party.
Mario Party, Mario Kart,
Turok.
Turok,
Rock.
I love
Perfect-
Turok. Oh
Perfect
my
Dark,
god.
of
Perfect Dark,
course.
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. Oh my god, it was so many games on the N64, and and there were a lot of like single player games that I played too, like the Mario 64. I had this like Chameleon game.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Chameleon. What about Glover? Did you ever play Glover?
Glover.
And about
No,
Gex?
I didn't play Glover.
Oh, we don't talk about Gex, man.
Well, the Chameleon was kind of like Gex, right? I
What about
Yeah, they were both terrible games, though.
what about
I
Pilot
liked
Wing?
it at that time.
Uh, just like you're driving, terrible taste.
Oh man.
Don't worry, I used to play Gex on the 3DO, but that's another story. Continue.
Oh my god.
I
It was
guess
called
you played what you have. I guess.
Chameleon's Twist. Oh lord.
Did you? What about Star Fox 64? Did you play Jet Force Gemini?
I didn't play Star Fox.
What?
What about Blast Corps?
I played it later on, but not
Okay.
at that time,
That was
And
a
I
fun
didn't.
game
I
too.
never got hooked into Star Fox. I played Smash, of course, which I was horrible at, but I played it. What was the other one you asked me about?
Did you play Blast Corps? It's by Rare. It was like
Blast
this
Corps was
demolition game.
fun.
Just
That was a fun
literally
game.
smash into all these
Smash
buildings.
it,
You
yep.
get a robot. And it was about destroying just buildings.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
It was like Rampage.
cool.
Remember the game Rampage with like King Kong and
Yeah.
it was basically Rampage with cars. That's the best way to put it.
Okay, no, actually.
And then there was another game
then
called Body Harvest, which was cool
Yeah,
too.
yeah. No,
Body
wait.
Harvest.
No, not Body Harvest.
So it was this game in an alternate reality, like I think World War II, and you had like tech. So think of Resistance, but but not with the Chimera, but with like insects, and you actually had a fight. It was again one of these games out of nowhere, which at the time it was pretty cool, called Body Harvest.
Sounds like Earth Defense Force, kind of.
Yes, that's even a better example.
Gotcha.
Okay. After, should I keep going? The next console.
So I know when you were practicing to drive, did you play Cruising USA on N64 or anything like that?
I was never a car game. Like
Oh,
I never
okay.
played car games. Like the
Oh.
most I played was Mario Kart.
Makes sense now. It makes sense now.
This checks out.
Checks out. Okay, fine. Bully me all you want. Well, after that, I had a Dreamcast.
Oh, nice.
No, wait, no. Scratch that. I had a PlayStation 1 first.
Okay.
I had a PlayStation 1, which I had. That's where my brother fell in love with Final Fantasy VII. I played a lot of it too, but
Okay.
he kind of like he took over the game like that. It was his game. So, then I got the trilogy of Cell Phone Filter.
Siphon Filter, yeah.
Siphon Filter, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I played a lot. I really liked it.
You guys never played Road Rash, Extreme
Oh my
Games?
God, I love Road Rash. Oh
I mean,
man,
Oh wait till you get to me because I got every time
The
you guys are
crazy
talking,
one.
I'm already building my story in my head. Like I'm building everything up, and I was like, man, I got a bunch of stories about games.
and I'm gonna say it's a lie.
Oh yeah, I guess it's a lie. I know. I lie a little bit, but yeah, it's gonna be lies.
Cool.
So
So you had the Dreamcast. What was the first game you got on Dreamcast?
well, first was the PlayStation.
PlayStation.
I played also. I believe the first Twisted Metal was there too, right?
Oh man, I love Twisted Metal, man.
Twisted Metal was
Sweet Tooth.
so fun.
Yep.
And I
Spectre.
for some reason in the PlayStation 1, I started playing a lot of I think it was the PlayStation 1 where started playing a lot of like fighting games. Like there were like School Rival, Bloody
Yes.
Roar.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Tobu Number One by Square?
Tobu number one? No.
Oh man, not many people have played it. It was a 3D fighter, kind of like Virtual Fighter that Square made. It was pretty good. It was called Tobu Number One. What about Battle Arena Toshinden? It was one of the first games that came out that was kind of like Soul Calibur.
Oh, Battle Arena Toshida.
Toshinden.
Oh
Toshinden.
man.
Yep.
Oh, I love that
It
game so
sounds
much.
familiar. Maybe if I see it. Maybe if I see it. But yeah, I got into a lot of like fighting games in that console. And then, some RPGs, Twisted Metal, I played a lot. And then I got the Dreamcast, which the Dreamcast I got was like it was like kind of hack. It had like some things that you had like those bootlegged CDs.
So we want to make sure that we don't condone
Yeah,
piracy.
don't condone
Like this
that.
guy here, this guy here, this pirate, this pirate.
I bought it like that. It was like that when I bought it. So, and it had a bunch of games. So, I kind of played it that way. That's where I
Oh, cool.
played Soul Calibur.
Okay. Did you play Seaman?
Seaman?
The one where you were like this fish,
Oh
and
Lord.
you had to.
Oh,
Yep.
don't
Yep.
talk about Seaman. Oh God.
Yeah.
The games.
What about
There's a lot of
this
games I played in Dreamcast that I don't even
Yep.
remember the name because
Space Channel 5?
most of the discs I had, they were all, since they were all, they were just discs, blank
He
discs.
didn't know. I don't know what this game is.
So I didn't know. I would just play it.
He was like, "Oh, Hello Kitty."
The best fighting game from Dreamcast was Capcom versus SNK, the first one. That's for me was the best.
That one was good. That one was good. But
The best.
I don't know. For some reason, Soul Calibur caught me.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Soul Calibur's good too.
That game I
Oh, yeah.
played a lot. And for me at the moment, because I had a Dreamcast and some of my buddies had the PS2 at that time.
Nice.
And I thought Soul Calibur looked it better, like the way the graphics looked on the Dreamcast. I was super
Mhm.
amazed. Then later on, I did get a PlayStation 2,
Okay.
which I played. I played a few games there, but
Did you play Final Fantasy X on there or anything like that?
yeah, Final Fantasy X I did play.
Resident Evil Code Veronica, anything like that?
No, I didn't play any Resident Evil on that console. I think
That was really fun.
Yeah.
I played I think I played Max Payne.
Oh,
Yeah, Max Payne
yes.
I think it was in the PS2 that I played it. I played Splinter Cell on the PS2.
Okay.
And
Yeah, they brought out Splinter Cell for PS2.
yeah,
Did they?
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it was Pandora Tomorrow and Chaos Theory.
yeah. Pandora Tomorrow. That
Okay,
was the one I
yes.
played.
Yeah.
Pandora
Because the
Tomorrow
first
was good.
one was exclusive.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
What else
Did you
did I
play GTA 3 on there as well?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. That was
And
the
I
game
played,
right there.
Remember? Well, this one was on PlayStation 1. Driver.
Yes. Oh my
Mhm.
God.
Driver.
Driver was
That
awesome.
was good.
Yeah.
That
Oh
was
my
cool.
God. What a friend. Even on the PS2, Smuggler's Run was great as well.
Oh, Smuggler's Run was so
Midnight
good.
Club. Shout out to Midnight Club. That was
Yes.
another great. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
need to bring Midnight Club back. Wow,
Oh.
I missed that game so much.
So calm.
They're sitting on so
Oh
much.
my God. SOCOM. I would
Yeah.
want a right now next gen SOCOM. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Give it to
You
me.
know what? You know what? They also need to bring back urgently, especially Need for Speed. They need to bring back those Most Wanted series. Those games were
Yes.
those were classics.
Yeah. Hopefully with Criterion back, we can probably get something.
Yeah.
As they kind of moved them, shifted over to Need for Speed.
How about a new Burnout Paradise or something?
Yeah.
Burnout. That would be
Yep. So okay. So you went to your friend's PS2, Dreamcast. What was next? Did you had the original Xbox and then you here, right? Or did you go somewhere else?
After when I had the PS2, I used to go a lot to a buddy of mine. I used to go to his house. He had a PC, and I
Oh.
used to play a lot of Need for Speed,
Okay.
1, and then Need for Speed 2. And while I was playing there, I love those two games. And then he kept playing this game that I kept seeing, and I'm like, why do you keep playing this game? Like, I used to see it, they were like all like tiny soldiers and all that, and I'm like, why you keep playing this game? Like, I don't see the fun on it. And he's like, oh no, this game, you won't understand it. And then one day I just got curious and I started playing it, and this game was Warcraft 3.
Oh,
And
nice.
Okay.
oh my god, that game caught me, and I played that game like for for the next
Mm-hmm.
few years, like straight. Like
Yep.
I abandoned all consoles. I got into PC. I used to take my whole desktop to his house in order
Damn.
to like play it,
Yep.
and we used to have like LAN parties and all that. And
Okay.
Warcraft just caught me.
Nice.
I even have right there. That's Arthas Menete, Meneteo. I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but you know, I got caught with the story, and then I started liking RTS. I started
Yeah.
testing some others like Age of Empire, Red Alert, Command and Conquer, and all that. And I ended up liking them, a lot of them.
You ever
But
play StarCraft?
yes, I did. But I
Yeah.
always ended up going back to Warcraft 3. Like,
So you're like Brian with Forza. You just keep going back to the same thing.
yeah, I kept going back to it.
Creature comforts, man.
Then
Creature
after
comforts.
that, while I was gaming on console, I started going to college.
Okay.
On PC, while I was gaming on PC, I started getting a lot into MMOs, but at the same time, I put a little like gaming club on Dominican Republic,
Okay.
where you kind of rent out like time for the consoles and people go and play. And I had
Yes.
2 PlayStation 3s, I had 2 Xbox 360s, but I didn't really play them that much. So I would probably grab a controller, play a little bit, and then a client will come in, and I would just hand them the system, because it was more like it was more as a business for me to pay off my college.
Damn, look at
So
Sour a businessman.
so
He was the arcades over there.
so I kind of missed that generation, and then the PS4 came out and the Xbox One, and I didn't hear any good things about Xbox One, so I kind of went with the PS4.
Okay.
But I bought the console. I was gonna buy the games later. 1 week later, my console disappeared from my house, and
Crazy Lou had it.
Yes,
I don't know
I
who
took
took
it.
it, but
Nagged and ran.
unfortunately, that kind of ended my era right there. Then few years.
So wait. The PS4 era ended by your console getting stolen.
Yes. I
Oh man.
guess I wasn't gonna buy another one,
Okay.
and I just kept playing on PC, and then I started playing lots of MMO. I went through World of Warcraft, and then me and my friends, because I met a lot of friends there playing World of Warcraft. We wanted to play another MMO, so we started looking. We played Arc Age. We played Continent of the Ninth. We played Guild Wars 2. That one we spent a good time.
Guild Wars was really good. Yeah, Guild Wars.
Guild Wars, yeah, that was one of the better one. We jumped MMO through MMO looking, and then eventually they kept getting tired. Some of my friends, like they kept dropping off, and it was less and less of us playing MMOs. And then one day, a buddy of mine's like, "There's this game called Sea of Thief. You should try it." And he's like, it's an Xbox game, but it's on PC. And
Nice.
I kind of like, I'm like, I don't know, that's like not my type of games. I'm mostly playing MMOs right now. He's like, oh no, but just try it. And then he told me, he kept telling me, and then eventually he told me, it's on Game Pass. You could try it right now with $1, and I think it was like a month or something like that.
And you said I don't like renting my games. I want to buy them.
No, I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. I mean, $1 won't hurt my wallet, and
Yeah.
that was the game that kind of got me into the Xbox ecosystem. I just started playing. You check right now, I'm probably at like 32 days played or something like that.
So Game Pass as a platform got you into the Xbox ecosystem.
I would say it was Sea of Thief because I tried
Okay.
it and I kind of, I kept on. I actually, the first month, the free month, I only played Sea of Thief. That's all I
Okay.
played. I didn't even try any other game. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to stay with the subscription and I'm going to start trying other games. And then I started just trying other games and I started noticing that a lot of the games that some of my friends that were on the other platform had told me that they were like garbage games, I actually was enjoying them. Like, I played Sunset Overdrive,
Ah,
which I
such a
love that
classic.
game. I played
Yes.
Quantum. What is it? Quantum Break.
Quantum Break,
Quantum
yes,
Break,
Quantum
yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Which
man, another great game.
I thought it was good. I just thought I wish they would have cut out the whole series thing. But besides that,
Oh, dude,
I
that
thought it
was
was
so
good.
good
No,
though.
get out of here. Get out of
It
here.
was good,
That
but
was so
the
good.
thing is, the thing I ain't like is like when I
He
went
wasn't
to
in it.
when I went to game, like I wanted a game, and then when I would pass a chapter, I would have to wait, like I would have to sit down, watch literally a whole series, like a whole chapter episode of a series, to then start gaming again. That kind of like I
That's
didn't like
good. You
that
can,
part,
I
but
can
at the
I can
So
eat
same time,
good.
popcorn in between. I can drink I can drink a nice
Yeah.
beverage or anything.
I enjoyed it.
You
I
had
enjoyed
you
it,
had a second to go to the bathroom,
but
get
I
your
don't know.
drinks. It was great.
I played Rise Some of Rome.
Oh, Rise!
Um,
I need a
yep.
sequel. Oh my
That
God, Rise!
We
that
need a
game was
sequel of that
great.
too.
Like a friend of mine told me that game was trash. I'm like, I don't know what are you talking about.
Now that they actually play it,
I don't know honestly.
They probably heard it was trash because
They
that thing got
probably
panned
could be.
so
yeah,
hard at that time. Oh man.
yeah. S- Wow. So now, just like I asked Brian, right? What are your top 5 games that
Five
that
games.
define? Yeah, the top 5 games that kind of defined, overall your gaming career so far. That kind of, just similar to what I said to Brian.
Well, the first one I would say have to be Mario, definitely, because
Okay.
Mario was the one that kind of caught my eyes, my attention,
W-
and when
The
I saw it,
original NES Mario or the SNES Super Mario World?
even though I enjoyed more the Super Mario World, I would say the first one because that was the one that when I saw it, I was like, wow, I gotta get myself a console. I gotta play. Like I want to play.
Sure.
So I would say that one kind of, you know, marks a big spot in my gaming. Uh, well, in my gaming in general. My second one, I would have to say it was Perfect Dark. I played a
Okay.
lot of Perfect Dark with my brother. Like I love that you could. That was like the first game that you can actually, well, that at least that I played that you can beat like cooperate, and it was kind of like I don't know. I liked the whole game. I liked the way that you had all these challenges too
Yep.
that you could play. And then it had all these different game modes, which for me, the chat's probably gonna kill me, but to me, Perfect Dark's better than GoldenEye. But that's just me. Um,
I'll
so
accept that.
definitely
All right.
Perfect Dark.
I'll accept
All right.
that. I'm not biased.
No, not at all.
Says Mr. Joanna Dark, right?
Yeah, I gotta say that. Oh, third, no particular order, but I gotta mention Chrono's Trigger.
Okay, Chrono Trigger.
That was like when I played that game. That was like wow, like the whole
Magnus
story,
levels.
the whole like everything. Like
Oh
yeah,
man.
that was pretty big. Oh, another game then my fourth that I gotta mention. I didn't mention this, but throughout the middle, I don't know when, but I got into Pokemon, and oh my god, I played Pokemon.
Yeah.
Digimon. Digimon.
Yeah, you did. No. Digimon was like the Kmart
Digimon.
brand Pokemon.
Yeah, I like the anime better, but the games I never got into the games. But
Oh, that.
Pokemon, oh my god, I got so much into. I used to buy the Game Boys. I remember I used to play it everywhere, play it in the bathroom. My dad would get pissed at me. I think he destroyed at least 3 Game Boys.
I
He
mean, I
would
would be
just
mad too if you're in the
splatter
bathroom.
destroy it. I would take
Wait, what?
forever.
What's wrong?
So here's the thing. That's where Nintendo got the whole idea for the marketing of the Switch when they had Sour Blow in the bathroom playing Pokemon.
What? There is
This was
nothing
perfect.
wrong with gaming in the bathroom, guys. I do it too. That would be part of my story too. Don't worry.
No, we'll skip that part. Okay, Chrono Trigger,
Your mouth.
Chrono Trigger, Perfect Dark. We just talked Pokemon. Okay, next.
Then I will say Warcraft 3, definitely.
Okay.
Warcraft.
Wow, it's funny so far hearing Brian's story, your story. We all have a little bit of PC,
Oh,
but of
wow,
course.
I left out Halo. Oh my god.
Oh wow. So
And
okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna make it nice. I'm gonna be a nice person. You have to kill off one of the ones you announced and put Halo in there.
oh, you're gonna pull a Miles on him.
Wow.
Hey, I'm gonna pull that from the goat. Yep.
Well,
And that Carlos Angel said that we should kill you. So let's see what the next move you make, man.
I'm glad I didn't have to make this decision.
well, to be honest, Mario. The reason I put it there was because it did get me into gaming, but it wasn't like a game that I really like. That I was like, throughout my trajectory, like I think back of Mario, and it was like a good game, but Halo was
So
different.
so
Like,
you're killing Mario.
I'll kill Mario.
There we go.
So-
He is the killer of Mario.
Right.
Just let everyone know.
Mario.
So when Nintendo comes here, then all the Nintendo
Wait.
fans of Mario come here and scorn us for this. It's because Sour Blow started this war.
Have
If
been
Mario-
waiting for this day.
If Mario will stop getting his princess kidnapped, maybe he wouldn't have gotten off the list.
Oh, Sour Blow. But now, of course, let's get ready to rumble.
Oh,
Great. Hopefully we don't get copyright for that. But
No.
Crazy Lou, let's get your story.
Don't ever say that.
Oh, hey, is he your rival or something?
Oh man.
But
Here
let's
you
hear.
go.
We're waiting for the crazy one. Let's hear his games. Let's start off.
Well-
Why did you like Barbie?
Why don't I Barbie? I mean, Barbie's got that beautiful hair. I mean, I like to wear that beautiful hair. If I could get a Barbie wig, guys, I would wear it. Let my hair all out. Beautiful blonde wig.
okay.
For one, I'm very
I would never-
envious of the hair.
Yes.
Cool.
But don't worry, Brian. I'm getting your way because I'm getting bald. It's happening right there and right up there. Yeah. So,
Yep,
so I'm heading your way.
coming
Don't
my
worry.
way. You're
I
coming
am,
my way.
buddy. Don't worry. I am. I know. So yeah. Wow, what got me into gaming? Wow. Well, my story starts when I was a little kid. I found a Nintendo on my Christmas tree, and I was like, oh, Nintendo. So yeah, hooked up the Nintendo and started playing it. So I played Super Mario. Jumping everything. Killing turtles, killing the what's it called? The little Goombas. What's it called? Goombas. Little brown
Troopas.
stuff.
The Koopa Troopas.
Yes.
on
Yes.
Super Nintendo, that Ninja Turtle games. Oh, that was.
Oh, TNT
Yes.
Turtles in Time. I was gonna get to
Yeah.
that too.
That was a good game.
But yeah, I remember. Oh man, Mario Duck Hunt were probably one of the games I played the most. I remember that gun. I was on the screen shooting the duck, and it gets to a point I just did not know why the freaking gun just didn't work anymore. And so I like got close to him. So I was like, da, 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 da. I was like, come on, work. Never worked. I thought the game was messed up.
It was by design, so you can buy another one, even though it wasn't broken.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bad design, no joke. Oh man, and then later on, like I started playing other games. Like for example, you guys, I don't know why you guys don't mention all these awesome games like not Super Punch Out, but Punch Out. You guys did not play Punch Out when you were little.
Of course, Little Mac. Oh
Little
man.
man, oh man, who the?
I
Oh man,
played it. I
You
just,
played it?
you know,
Oh, I love Punch. I remember
Oh, I
going
love
in
Punch.
and just going, oh
Yes.
man, just through the training.
that
Yes.
game made me rage quit a lot. That
It
that
really
game got
did.
really aggressive really
Wait till I
fast.
tell you a game that's gonna make you rage quit, then I'll talk about it.
Oh man, I remember that game. You know when we were playing Punch Out, like the one who always gave people what was the guy with the was the Tiger King? Was it? The one with the little thing on his
No, it
head.
couldn't have been Tiger King. Did they
Oh,
have a
wasn't it?
Tiger King in there?
I don't
No.
remember.
Tiger King, no, they didn't. We didn't have no Tiger King, man.
Oh no, no.
I was
Oh
about
my
to say
bad.
they were
Oh
ahead
my
of their
god.
time.
Oh my god. I just got confused.
The Tiger King, it was.
It's a Netflix
That
series.
would
Oh
have
my
been
god.
amazing.
Why did I
That would
get
have been
Tiger King?
amazing.
Why?
I would box Tiger King.
Oh
Hello,
my
hello,
god. Oh
hello,
lord.
cats and kittens.
Oh my god. Why did I get Tiger King though? Oh, because I saw another
I don't know.
Tiger King. Urgh. But yeah. Playing
They
that
did
Punch
have
Out
a
game.
Don King character.
They did.
I
There was
think
this one
so.
character who was the
Looking up.
Yabra character, right? And what he did was he did like a little trick and you had to like dodge your head. I learned that like later on during the life, but yeah, that was one of my things. Also Paperboy. Wow, Paperboy.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
Oh man, Paperboy. I just
Okay.
remembered every time riding around my bike and every time you hit that window, that lady came after you with a knife. Literally, a lady came after you to stab
Yeah.
you in the game. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just like what?
Yeah.
I was
All
like, what
violent,
is
right?
Nightmares as a kid. Yeah.
all this violence and all this stuff? And then also another good game that later on in life, because there was something about the beginning that I was like, okay, when the game started, you know, there was this guy who was naked on the floor with the princess in the graveyard, and all of a sudden this devil comes out and steals the princess and goes, and what he does is run in there, puts on the armor, and I was like, but then because then
Ghosts and goblins.
yes.
Ghosts and Goblins.
Later on, I was like, "Whoa, what did those guys do in that cemetery that the devil came over here?" And that was something like all that stuff that went on. Oh, Ninja Gaiden. Oh man.
Well, I didn't
Also,
even mention Zelda, Secret Mana.
Zelda. Yes, Zelda. But wait, I'm getting to Super Nintendo though. But Zelda was also one of my favorite games. Castlevania too. I mean, I played a lot of Castlevania.
Yes.
That's something I played a lot from Nintendo. Also, you remember because since we're talking about history, how you guys never talked about how many times you guys went to the video store and rented a game. That's something really important in our lives when we were little kids. I mean, I remember always going.
I used to go to the video store
Yes,
and I used to hide Super Mario Brothers 3 in the adult
yes.
section, so nobody can go. and then I would come back and I would take it out of the adult section and then re-rent it at Fridays.
You know that was also that's part of our history. When we started game because I remember you used to go to the video store and you were like, okay, you looked at this box because that's something that doesn't happen anymore. That's something that just quit happening. Remember, you used to grab the box and you're like, oh, look at this cool art and the cool art of the game. When you saw, you're like, let me rent this game, and you rented the game because before you didn't have ratings, you didn't have this, you had GamePro, you have
Yeah.
Nintendo Power, you had all that, but you had to wait till you get it or go to the pharmacy or something to buy it.
You
But
didn't
yeah, I mean,
even
you
look
were
at trailers or anything like that. It was
nothing,
just-
nothing
yeah,
like that.
like
It was
you
just
said,
the card box.
That
the-
stuff.
yeah.
I used to read
Yeah.
game what is it? EGM, Game
Yeah.
Pro,
Yeah.
and the other one was I can't. Was it
What the
Game
heck?
Fan? Game Fan.
Game-
With the
Game
it was like a
Fan,
it was like a
Gamer.
television. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Nintendo
Oh,
Power.
all that stuff. I
Yep.
mean, that's also something I used to love, like grabbing those magazines, especially when you buy the game. I missed all those little manual books. The manual books had a story in them. I mean, you open the little manual, you saw like who are the bad guys, who is this, who is that. That was awesome. That was also one of the coolest things I saw when I was a little kid. I enjoyed that so much. Reading them. I mean, I used to sit there and just read them, like read through
Some of them went into so much detail too.
Yes.
They had lore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a
Yes.
lot of them were very, it was like the 3 or 4,
Yeah.
bare bones skeleton pages of this is how you control the game. But a lot
Yeah.
of them actually added a lot of context and story to it. It was really cool.
Yes, they had all
I
that
miss
cool
those.
stuff. It was cool things. I mean,
I feel
Nintendo.
like sorry to cut you out real quick. I feel
Yeah,
like
go.
the games now, like because I know everything's gonna go digital, but I feel like if they're gonna kill the CDs, they should do something where they send you like something like that with a code where you can at least have that like that story, that artwork, and everything. And I feel like that would be super cool.
Well,
They're doing it though, but it's you have to pay like a bunch more money to get the artwork. They
Oh
some
yeah,
games come with books, yeah. So they're doing that, but you got to pay a lot more,
yeah,
a lot of money, yeah, to get everything like the art book, to get a helmet, to get a sword, all that stuff. But back in the day, it was like that. I mean, remember looking at the game, I was like, this game looks cool. Like another one of my favorite games was Bad Dudes. You guys ever play Bad Dudes?
Bad Dudes. I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh man, that game is, and also Narc. Oh my
Narc.
god,
Yes. And you get it to Big
I
Boss, and you're like, oh
Big
man.
Boss. Oh man, that game was one of the best games I played. And oh man, up up down down. You guys never can't forget that
Up,
Contra.
down, down, left, right.
oh
Oh
A,
yeah.
Contra.
select, start.
Contra.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
Contra. But it's also a classic that I used to play a lot. I mean, Nintendo for me was one of the best libraries,
Yes.
and it was pretty. It was just wicked. And then now I'm gonna head up to my later years. Okay, so yeah, after Nintendo, I my family took me to, I think, to see my godmother. Is it godmother? Is it godmother? Godfather? Yes, godmother. Yeah, lived in Puerto Rico, and I remember when I got to Puerto Rico, I went there for like a summer thing, summer camp. I forgot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when I went to Puerto Rico, my cousin had this beautiful black, gorgeous console, Sega Genesis. Oh man, that's
Finally, a
when
Genesis film, a Genesis story.
that's that's when I met for the very first time, for me, the coolest character in all video gaming, called Sonic the Hedgehog. Nobody can say no on that. Sonic the Hedgehog for me is the coolest video game character. He had the attitude, he had the speed, he had everything. I mean, I played that game to heck. And it's actually a game I beat. I can sit down like right now, and I could, because that's something that people nowadays don't do. Like for example, we go back to I'll go back right now to Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And I can sit there and in 2 hours beat it. No problem, because I know the whole game from A to Z. Because that's something we remember doing back then, like replaying the game, because we couldn't get we didn't have the budget to go buy games. So yeah, you had all the time to replay. So you play the game many times, and you have the whole game mesmerized in your head.
So, since you're talking about Sonic, right? There was a
Yeah.
person at my local store that
Yeah.
wanted to troll me because I guess he couldn't stand me every time I used to come in asking all the questions. He told me that if I beat Sonic CD and I got every single part of that game, 100%, that I would be able to play Sonic 2. When I tell you, I played Sonic CD like my life counted on it, and then I found out that he lied to me. I was devastated, but I loved it because
Oh,
I did everything in the game. Sonic CD.
Sonic City even had a cool intro.
Yeah, Sonic Boom. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Sonic
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Boom. You
yeah,
got
yeah.
you got all that. Yeah, it had a cool intro. So yeah, I saw that beautiful black console. Oh man, Sega Genesis is one of the best consoles, and I was like, yes, I need it. I want one. I want one. And then little kid hype, wanted a Sega. And like a year later or two, like, yeah, here comes the Sega. So yeah, I got my Sega Genesis and started playing loads and loads and loads of games. Sega Genesis is one of my really
You've been
favorite
playing
consoles.
Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Spider Man,
I was getting to there. Streets of Rage, Golden Axe. What else did I play? Wow, I
Ninja
need to.
Turtles, Hyperstone Heights.
I did not play that. No, I played Turtles in Time of Super Nintendo, because that's another thing. I went to a friend's house and saw that Super Nintendo. It's gonna
And you
be
were like,
after.
this is the better console.
Oh, and yeah, in sound it is actually. In sound it is. In sound, the Super Nintendo had a better sound. Also in colors, yeah. There was some games that you play well in Super Nintendo, some games that play well in Sega, but
Yeah.
yeah. But wow, man, I remember that's just that beautiful Sega Genesis. Oh man, I just can never forget it. And then came one of the most important games in Sega's history, because that is the game that actually got Sega to sell, which was Mortal Kombat. When that game came out, I remember I had it for Super Nintendo, but you couldn't like because it didn't have blood. So yeah, when I saw that game in Sega Genesis, and I saw my cousin playing it in Sega Genesis. He did the blood code. I was like, oh my god, look, there's blood in it. That was like one of the like the big, big moments. And now since we talked a little bit of Super Nintendo, let me go right there in between and say, I remember when I got my Super Nintendo, I went to a friend's house and I remember playing this. And the first game I played on Super Nintendo, you guys will not believe me, it was Ultraman.
Oh my God,
Ultraman.
Ultraman was so good. I used to, oh man.
Yes, I played Ultraman, and I remember I played Ultraman. I was like, you see, you fight these bosses, right? And you gotta fill up the meter to do the final thing.
Yeah.
I remember playing Ultraman, just kicking the guy, kicking the guy. I spent like an hour kicking the guy, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what I did. I was like, God, what doesn't he die? And I did something, poof, and I killed him. I was like, oh. And then after that, I was like, this is gonna be easy. Let's rock. Let's go. So yeah, I beat the whole Ultraman, and after that, I went to Super Mario. Oh man, that was another great console. RoboCop versus Terminator. Oh man, I can keep on
You know
going.
that the
Yeah.
Genesis one and the Super Nintendo are different.
Yeah, they are.
They are different. Yeah. So my friend had a Genesis, and he
Yeah.
had the one for Genesis, and I had the Super Nintendo one, and they were totally different. Again, with violence and some other things. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, oh my God. And for me, one of the worst video game companies in history, because seriously, I gotta say it though. This is something I gotta say. LJN. Oh my God, those LJN games. Oh my God, they were pretty much unplayable. I remember I got the Terminator 2 game for Christmas on
Oh,
Super
okay.
Nintendo. Oh my God. Oh, you just couldn't play those games. It was just horrible. And also, the X-Men on Sega Genesis from them was it was horrible. It was horrible. I mean, you couldn't. LGN games were really bad. I remember when I saw that lead, was like, I don't trust this anymore. But yeah, but so after I got my Super Nintendo, because that was the thing. I had a Super Nintendo and a Sega, so yeah, I was very limited on buying games, because or you get one game here, you get another game there. So yeah, I remember that later on I got a Sega CD. So
Nice.
I started transforming my Sega Genesis, injecting that Sega Genesis. And then my friend got the 32X, and I was like, oh my God. I remember I built the Sega Autobot. It
So
was
you had a desktop at that point.
yes, I literally had a desktop with the Sega Genesis. I mean, I remember
What,
that Sega.
what was your first Sega CD game that you played?
Oh, Afterburner. Oh, Sewer Shark, Sewer Shark, Sewer Shark,
Super
Sewer Shark.
Chuck. Okay.
Oh my
I,
God, that
I have a
game was
question
horrible.
for both of you. Since the only time I only played Sega Genesis once, and it was like at a friend house. I think it was a Sega Genesis. But what Crazy is saying right now, were you able to like customize it and add different things to it,
I
or
don't know.
So the Genesis Sega CD was an add-on that went
Was
to the
an
side
add-on.
of the Genesis,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave you CD games. And
CD
most of the
games.
games were like FMV movies that you were playing, or like better quality sound.
You
And then
remember? You remember back in the day when you turn on the camera, it had like a really bad video.
yeah?
That's how Sega CD played. It was like
But so the console came out cartridges, and then later
yes.
on they added that as an add-on, like to upgrade the
Okay.
games.
This is how it was, right? The Sega Genesis was this big, right? It was a small console, and then all of a sudden later on they decided to make the Sega CD. I think it was to compete against portable against PCs, right? They made it
against
for
like
that, right?
I think they were just trying to compete with like PlayStation at the time.
Yeah, to compete. Yeah, to
Because they
yeah
were
to compete.
CDs, but it was
And
supposed to be more interactive games.
yes, and then like all of a sudden you took off this piece right from the bottom of the Sega CD, right? You took off this plastic piece which had it was like a cartridge, right? And you slid it on the Sega CD. And oh my God, this is something I always complain about these companies. The big behemoth plug. They had big, huge plugs. Like for example, you needed to buy those piano things to plug them, because they just couldn't fit on the wall because they were so big. And then you had the Sega Genesis power plug, and you had the Sega CD power plug, right? Also, 32X had a power plug. All of those things, the
Yeah.
add-ons had their own power plug. So literally, the Sega Genesis would take like 10 power plugs with all of no joke.
I mean,
And
just
So
some history
it
there.
took a lot of your light. That's why your parents were mad at the light bill because it just took so much power.
Power
no, because I mean,
Rangers.
I only got to Sega CD. That's it. But yeah, I remember playing those Swiss Shark Afterburner.
Did you ever play Eternal Champions?
No, I did not. No, I did not.
It was a Mortal Kombat type game, which I loved. It wasn't great. It was difficult to even pull
Oh
off some of
man.
the fatalities. Like I had a strategy guide, and it tells you put them exactly here, and you can kill them in the level. It's called Eternal Champions,
Yeah.
Challenge from the Dark Side. It was great.
Oh, did you guys play Primal Rage? Oh my god, that was
Oh
also a
yes,
fun game. Primal
Pit
Rage,
Fighter.
Primal Rage. Those were the games. I mean, after Mortal Kombat came out, all these games came out, and that Primal Rage. I remember the monkey that used to do like the bottom flip and fart in the person's face. That was so funny. But yeah,
Yep.
that game, Primal Rage was awesome.
There was
And you like grab the people, you throw them, and they you
yeah,
hit them like
there was a
yes.
there was another game called Weapon Lord, which
Never
was
played that one.
kind of like Soul Calibur, but you were like it was like Conan the Barbarian type, and you
Oh my
fought. It was
god.
called Weapon Lord. It was pretty cool.
And yeah, I mean, Final Fight. Oh my god.
Yes, Final Fight.
Final Fight, Chrono Trigger, like Sarah Blow said, is also a good game. I mean, the best RPG, like I said earlier. But yeah, Chrono Trigger, Final Fight. I played a lot of Final Fight in Super Nintendo. Final Fight for me
Remember,
was
remember they had Final Fight and then Final Fight Guy because they added
yes,
basically
they got a
Guy.
guy.
I was just like,
Final Fight is still one of the toughest games to play. I mean, you sit there, it's still a tough game. Not like Final Fight 2. With Final Fight 2 you had continues. Final Fight was just you gotta go forward. It was tough. Really, really tough game. Final Fight
oh.
is a really tough game.
So after you went from PC to I'm joking from Sega to Sega CD 32X, what was your next kind of console?
Oh wow. I remember I had a PC.
Okay,
And I also played a bunch of cool games on PC. One of them for
The
me is
Sims.
my that was later on though. But for me, if you ask me, for me, what's my number one game in PC is Full Throttle. I played the hell
Full
out of Full
throttle.
Throttle.
Shout out to Sim
I
Schaefer.
love I love Full Throttles. For me, it's one of my favorite games. I mean, the other day when they put it on remastered on PlayStation, it came out on PlayStation First remastered. I bought it. I beat it in 3 hours, like I always did. I beat that game so fast. I remember every single detail of that game because, like I said, back in the day, you had to sit down and play it and play it and play it. Because
Did you get to play Grim Fandango?
I did not play Grand
Ah,
Fandango, but you know what?
that was so good.
But you know what I played though? Simon Max. You guys ever play Simon Max Hit the Road?
I never
No.
got into the 7 Mac games. I've tried them, but I never got into them.
It was a cool game. Oh, it was what was it called? It was I think it was Descent, one of the best PC games out there. You remember Descent?
Descent, where it was like
Descent.
a first person spacecraft kind of.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
that was
game
Disney. That was dizzying though. Yeah, but
yes,
yes.
that was a good game. I used to play that a lot on PC. And oh wow, I mean, I could just go on. And for me, PC, I remember this. This is when you ask me what my top 5 games, like always number one. I remember when I first played Doom 2. Oh my god, Doom 2.
Did you ever get Doom on the 32X?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
No. Because I played Doom 2 on PC. And I remember
Okay.
even the cheat codes. It was IDDQD, IDKFA. I remember everything of Doom 2. And I played the heck out of that Doom 2. I beat that game. I love it so much. It's for me that was the game that got me into shooting. Like shooters and stuff, that was the top game for me. I played Wolfenstein before. Wolfenstein was from the same guys. I loved it, but Doom was the game that just got me into shooters. I loved Doom. And kept on going. I played later on Unreal Tournament, which was another game that.
Yes, that's another classic. Yeah.
Yep, Unreal Tournament was also a fun game. I remember oh man, playing those. That was actually an online game, wasn't it? Getting people together, going around, jumping around, shooting. Oh man,
That was like the OG kind of first, online shooting, and it was great.
yeah. And man, and after all those games I played, because we already mentioned Command and Conquer, we mentioned a bunch of games I played too, because I played the heck out of Command and Conquer Red Alert 2. I remember taking my PC to my friend's house and playing Command and Conquer 2, getting consoles all together and stuff. All that. I'm not consoles, PC ports and everything together to play Lang each computer. That was amazing. That was pretty amazing. And then after that, I got into, I think it was Nintendo 64. Yes, I played Nintendo 64. I played Mario 64. I remember that was my first game, Mario 64, then Pilot Wings, and then came the Golden Eye age, man. Everybody had Golden Eye. I remember inviting my friends over to my house to play Golden Eye. I remember going to my friend's house to play Golden Eye. Turok, oh man, Blast Corps, like we mentioned earlier. Wow. Man, I had so much fun with all those consoles. And
I'm
yeah, go
I,
for it.
I was just gonna say I'm so happy to hear someone else spent some good time on Pilot Wings. I don't
Yeah.
know if you played it on Super Nintendo, but that
Yes.
was
That
where I
was that
first got
was
into it.
yes, Pilot Wings was good.
God, it was so good. And then the N64 version, like obviously, it was later on and stuff. But man, they added so much to that. It was so much fun, like flying
Yeah.
around past
Yes.
like the Rushmore and stuff like that. That was a lot of fun. That
You
was a
know,
really cool game.
one of the things I remember from Pilot Wings that I was like really amazed is when you were flying and you saw it was nighttime and you saw the stars and the moon. That was actually something that really impressed me from Pilot Wings 64 when I played that.
Yep.
Which was also Super Nintendo, and nobody never mentioned either Mario Kart. I played Mario Kart with my friends like hell of it. I mean, Mario Kart for me was one of the best games to
I
play.
mentioned it.
Yeah.
Oh, you mentioned Mario Kart? Okay, oh, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, you mentioned it. Yeah, you're right, you mentioned it.
I
But yeah,
so I I think I played more of the Super Nintendo Mario Kart
yeah,
personally. Um,
yeah.
Oh, really?
Mario Kart 64 was really good, and I know we played a lot of it because that was around the time where we
Yeah.
were all getting together and playing.
Yeah. I
But
think that was the most fun console for me.
yeah,
I love Mario Kart
yeah,
Double Dash.
Double Dash. What Double Dash? That was Cube.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
remember that Diddy Kong Racing too?
Yes,
Yes,
N64.
yes.
Yes.
We played the heck out of Diddy Kong Racing, man. I still remember that game. Oh, Donkey Kong Super Nintendo. Oh my God, that was also a classic. I mean, if I could sit here and just talk games all night.
Donkey
All
Kong
those.
2, I think was it the second one? The one, yeah, I think it's Country. What was the name of it?
I
Donkey
forgot.
Kong
It was,
Country.
but it wasn't with Donkey Kong. It was
Country.
with Diddy and what Lizzie. I think it was her name, right? Lizzie Kong. What was her name though?
You mean Dixie Kong?
Dixie Kong. Yes,
Yeah,
Dixie Kong.
I think
Yes.
that
It
that
was.
was the best one.
You think that was? Oh, I never played the
For
second
me
one though.
personally.
I'll be honest. I never played the second one, but yes, I beat the first one. Was one. Oh man, so it's awesome games. I mean, I could, like I said, I could sit here and play and talk about all night about gaming. Oh man, now let's move on to because I mean we were talking about Nintendo 64 and we played. Everybody played Turok. Everybody played Blast Corps, like you were mentioning. Oh, I love the fun with Blast Corps. Awesome game.
Well, I
Awesome
think
game.
Turok doesn't Turok intro has like Brian voice when it's the Turok.
Oh, rock.
Oh,
Uh, oh man,
man,
and
that
now
brings me right back.
And now I'm gonna head up to PlayStation. Oh, PlayStation. Oh my god. PlayStation, one of the I'm telling you, that's for me one of the best consoles in history. PlayStation 1. My first game in PlayStation 1 was Nightmare Creatures. I played Nightmare Creatures. It was a pretty
Oh
cool
my God,
game.
Nightmare Creatures was so good.
Yeah.
Rob
Yes.
Zombie. Oh man, the
Yes.
soundtrack.
See? Yeah, see? Nightmare Creatures was it was an incredible game. And also I also played wow. Brian mentioned Metal Gear. Metal Gear, wow, that first Metal Gear. I mean, the other day I was telling the story, but I couldn't mention what was the thing I used to grab. It's called a UPS, an interruptible power supply. That's what it's called,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I had to when I was playing Metal Gear. I had like I had my first PlayStation. You remember the first PlayStation that had like the three plugs behind? It was big,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
the gray
Oh,
one.
the other, oh my God! You know what happened to me the other day? I was crying in tears that day. I accidentally dropped it because I had it here. It actually worked. It still worked, and I accidentally dropped it, and it just shattered. You know,
Oh.
because the plastic is so old.
Yeah.
Accidentally, yeah. So it's so old. It got like toasty, and it just
No.
fell and it broke into pieces. I was sad when I saw it. I was like, no, I had this saved yet, like to put it on on display. And wow, that was just bad. But yeah, moving to PlayStation. I remember when I got my PlayStation. Yeah, Nightmare Creatures. Also, the Alien trilogy. I had so much fun with the Alien trilogy. It was killing aliens because I'm a big fan of it, the Alien franchise, Predator franchise, as you are, Brian. I mean, you love also
Yes.
with Jason Voorhees and all that stuff. Oh my God, Friday the
Yeah.
13th Nintendo. Ah, that's also a good
Oh
game.
man, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I said, you talking is just gonna
Yeah.
bring out that exciting thing in
Maniac
me because
Mansion.
I
Oh
loved, I
man.
love, I love that Friday the 13th game. Oh my God. And
It
yeah,
was it was so good.
yes, you remember when you used to like let me go right, but you were going to the left. You got, and then you say, wait, let me turn left, and you were going to the right.
It,
That was it.
Then
Yeah,
Jason shows up in the cabin, and you're like,
like
"Oh
two
man,
you. You're like, oh my
yeah.
God, and Jason was purple. Why is Jason
yes."
purple?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah. He was purple and blue, I think, if I remember correctly.
it
Yeah.
was purple with the blue mask. Yes,
Yeah. I that was one of those games where it's like I don't know why it didn't frustrate me more, but it felt like the controls played
you
against you. Like the
you
controls fought against you in that game.
you
That's what
had
And
made
that
it
that
a
in the
was
horror.
back.
honestly, yeah,
You
That's
that's
what made
what
it.
made it so scary and terrible. Is like because you
and
just you didn't know what was going to happen from moment
yes.
to moment. It felt like,
And you remember when you got into the house, you were playing Punch Out right there. When you got inside the houses to save the
Yes.
campers, you're
Yeah.
playing Punch Out right
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Because I mean, when he came out right there in the house, he used to run down to punch you, and you had to like dodge it and dodge it. Oh man, that game was
yeah.
awesome.
It
Jason was,
was.
It was
and
intense.
I was scared of him when I was a little kid. I mean, I used to crap my pants when I saw him, but then later on, I started to like him. I mean, I'm a big fan of Jason. In the movies, I always root for him. He does always the best kills in slasher history. I love Jason. But moving on, like again, I'll go back to PlayStation. Man, PlayStation, I got a lot of stories to talk about. But yeah, Metal Gear, like I said, I grabbed an interruptible power supply. I had to plug it in because my PlayStation had the memory card damaged, so I couldn't use the memory card. And I
That.
remember that I sat there and I played. It was. I remember I woke up. I was like, "Yeah, It's a Saturday. I got nothing else to do." I plugged that thing in the living room, plugged the PlayStation, and I was like, "Okay, this is it. I'm gonna play the game." And I spent. I remember I started like around 9 a.m. and I finished it at 6 p.m. I sat there the whole day playing Metal Gear Solid, and I beat the game. And I was like, "Wow, I actually did it." And wow, that was actually one of the games that I loved in my PlayStation libraries. That's that. If you ask me what my favorite Metal Gear is, I'll tell you number one. I could play it in hard. I could play it in any level of difficulty. I know everything there is to do in that game. I know where all the bad guys are. I
You
know
ever?
everything.
Did you ever get a chance to play Twin Snakes, which was kind of a reimagine on the GameCube?
Nah, no, I never got. Oh, that never. I never got a GameCube. That's something. That was a big mistake in my life because I needed to get a GameCube because I mean GameCube's got so many good games. It's got an awesome library and never got a GameCube. Can you believe that? But it's
Speaking
Yeah.
it's
of,
in it's
real
in
quick,
plans for future. What?
GameCube. I actually got a GameCube with two games: Mortal Kombat Deception, and I think it was a Rayman game.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I bought the console. I didn't have the memory card. My brother bought the memory card, and somehow he ended up with the GameCube. I don't know how,
He
but
got all the power in his hand.
but yeah,
Man, PlayStation. Wow, Metal Gear, and wow, and this is one of my other favorite games. Never forget that intro. One of the best games ever made. Resident Evil. Oh my god. When I played that Resident Evil game, wow. I mean, I remember when I got into that. I saw it in the Game Pro magazine. And I was like, this looks interesting. A zombie game, a horror. Because it's something that we actually never seen. And so we got into that and we started watching. And I mean, like not watching, like reading about it, like reading through Game Pro. I was like, this sounds interesting. When I saw the game, I was like, whoa! I remember I saw it in the video, so I was like, I gotta read this, I gotta read this, and I rented that game. Right when I walked inside the first room, everybody knows this. When that zombie turns his head, you were like, "Whoa!" Oh man, I saw that and I was like, "This is one of the best games I've seen on PlayStation." Like, wow. I played the heck out of Resident Evil, and also, yeah, I mean, I had to cheat. I had to buy a guidebook because I mean, I was getting lost in the game. I was running around, I was like, "What am I doing?" And I found the game pretty boring. But when I bought the guidebook, I started, "Whoa, this is interesting." I started playing, and man, it was pretty cool. It was actually a really fun game for PlayStation for me. Wow, I got so many stories on that console. Played so many games, and also they made a Chrono Trigger remake there, which I bought and beat it again. Wow, really, that was actually for me one of the best consoles for me. And after PlayStation, guys, oh, also the best Mortal Kombat was there for me, which is Mortal Kombat Trilogy. It had everybody of all the Mortal
Yes.
Kombat. It
Yeah,
had
Yep.
Goro. It had
Trilogy.
Shao. It had
That was
everybody.
my Mortal.
That
Yep,
was
yep. You got all the fatalities. You got everything in that game. Everything you wanted was in that game. But the PlayStation version, because the N64 didn't have everybody, right? They didn't have the.
Yeah, I think so.
It was
Yeah,
missing.
it was missing. Yeah, it was missing. But the PlayStation version had every single Mortal Kombat from one to three, every single one of them. That was so much fun. I remember playing that. Oh man, that was for me the best Mortal Kombat. Also, Die Hard Trilogy was also one a good one. Road Rash, as I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Extreme Games. I remember going down that hill, punching people like, yeah, get out, kicking, punching. You guys never played Extreme Games? That was a fun game. And oh,
that,
Oh,
haha. Speaking
I,
of
I
extreme, what?
oh, sorry, I was just gonna say I don't remember Extreme Games, but I
You
do
know?
remember California Games.
Oh, that was fun.
California
California
games.
Games. Yep.
Yes.
That was another game we played
Sorry,
on Nintendo. Oh,
do,
man.
do you
sorry,
remember
side tangent.
there was like a motorcycle, like motocross game
Excite
for
Bike.
N64 that you can make like
Like
stunts, you jump and stuff.
Excite
Yeah,
Bike.
Excite
yeah.
Bike.
Excite Bike.
That's what it's called. Okay.
I think
Yes.
that was
Excite
Excite
Bike.
Bike. Yeah, Excite Bike.
Okay.
Excite
That
Bike.
that,
That
that
was
game
a
was
fun
awesome for
game.
me.
Yeah, Excite Bike was awesome.
Yeah.
And Wave Race 64. Oh, my God. Wave Race.
Oh yeah,
Cool Borders. I could just go on. You guys did play Cool Borders?
yeah. Cool
No.
Borders
Yes.
was
Cool
good.
borders.
Cool
Yeah.
Borders,
I
yeah.
think I played that on
I can.
PlayStation though.
Yeah, it was on PlayStation. I mean, I can go. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, if I sit here and just thinking about all the games I played, man, I love because that's something I love. I love to game. Wow, man, Cool Borders was also a good game. Wow, I mean, I play so much games on PlayStation, no joke. Oh, Xenogears. Oh man, you guys ever play
Yes.
Xenogears? Oh
Yes. I'm,
wow,
I'm,
that
I'm
game.
hoping that rumor is true that they're remaking it and they're going to actually finish the game.
Oh my God, you remember
Oh,
because
that
I
was
was
nice.
because that game you were on a gear you could and you had to get down the gear and fight people too. That was an incredible game. When I played that game, I was like, wow, another one of the best RPGs ever
Did
made.
you ever played Xenogears Saga,
No, no, no.
which was part of this whole Xenogear universe? It was on the PS2. It was more like movies, but they were great.
Uh,
And kind of they were similar, but not the same as Xenogears.
yeah. What else? Oh man, if I and I'm telling you that library goes on. I still have the guide to Xenogears. I still have it, perfect shape.
Same here.
The guide.
I have the original disc.
You do? Oh, you know what is another good game? They need to bring that game. Oh, Soul Reaver. They need to bring back. They need to bring
Oh,
back
Legacy
Legacy of
of
Kain.
Kain.
They need to
Legacy of Kain,
bring
hell.
those games back. Legacy of
Yes.
Kain, Soul Reaver. They need to bring
Yep.
them back. Those were awesome games. Oh man, I'm gonna be saying awesome all night, but damn, I love Soul Reavers.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't
Such a
believe I
great
didn't mention
game.
that game. Yeah.
Yep.
Ah, yeah, because I mean, because like I said, PlayStation in our hearts, the first PlayStation console came out with a bunch of great games, and the sad part is that that they got lost. Like you mentioned, Siphon Filter, SOCOM. There's whew, I mean the library goes on. It's just games that just died. The games that touch our hearts. That we actually enjoyed and love. Wow. So we realized Legacy of Kain. What else? What else? Oh, Tony Hawk. Oh man, who the heck played the hell out of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater? Man, that
Yeah.
Tony Hawk.
I used to be
Wow.
a skate or die guy. Skate or die.
Yep, me too.
Oh.
I used to be a skater that guy too.
Crash,
about you, Brian?
Spyro.
You're
Spyro,
making me
Crash
rethink
Bandicoot.
some of my top five now. Because yeah,
See,
Tony Hawk's. I got so many good times with Tony Hawk's.
Yes. Oh man, I remember that game. Wow. I played a lot of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I used to do a bunch of things in that game. And yeah, what else? What other games did I play a lot? Oh, I used to play a lot also the WWE games.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
the
See,
WWE
No
games.
Mercy.
No Mercy.
No Mercy. Yes,
360.
that's the
That's
game.
the best wrestling game.
Yep.
Definitely.
For me, it's Here Comes the Pain. That was the best one.
That one
So-
I didn't play. I played
For
SmackDown versus Raw, I think it was.
Raw, yeah, yeah. SmackDown
Yeah.
versus Raw. No, for the No Mercy, my friend had a tape recorder, so we actually recorded live action, like kind of smack talk. We actually had our characters. Mine was Y2J, and he had his character, and we used to record, and we used to kind of have like in the back like banter, and then like at one point I came in and his dad was doing something in the basement, and I speared him through the actual sheetrock, and his dad was like, "You're never coming back for a month." But we put that into it. So what I did is when his character came, remember you could put handicap and everything to kind of his character would come injured to make it simulate the real things we just did in wrestling. So it was No Mercy was amazing.
Do you actually still have those tapes?
My friend still has those VHS tapes. If you have a VCR, yes, yeah.
I got
We should try to recover that. That would be kind of cool.
No, I got 4 VCRs here that still work because I collect all that stuff. I got 4 VCRs back there, nice and safe for future things, just in case.
Case the apocalypse.
Yeah. I mean, I know because I got great movies over there, man. I got great movies stored, and
Yeah.
oh,
Cool.
oh man.
So PlayStation. What?
PlayStation.
So then, when did you get into Xbox?
Oh, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Dreamcast was next.
Oh, thank you. Finally, some
Dreamcast
love for
was
the
next.
Dreamcast.
Dreamcast was next.
I mentioned the Dreamcast.
Huh?
Oh
I
yeah,
mentioned
you
the
did.
Dreamcast.
Yeah, you
Come
did
on,
mention it,
Shin.
yeah.
He didn't even say Shenmue. Come on, Shenmue, Jet Set
Shenmue.
Radio, Crazy
I played
Taxi.
Crazy
Come
Crazy
on.
Taxi.
I played Crazy Taxi. I
Bass
played
fishing.
Jet Set
Oh my
Radio.
god, I played so much bass fishing. I love bass fishing. For me, that was the
that
best.
I did not play.
What?
I
Man,
had it,
bass
but I
fishing was
didn't
the
play
best.
it. No.
Man, you never played bass fishing, man. Bass fishing was the best. Just to sit there and fish for bass. Oh, that was the game that got me to Dreamcast. Can you believe that? A game of fishing. Well, I still play fishing games though, but yeah, a game of fishing got me to Dreamcast. The Die Hard game in Dreamcast was also good. Oh, what's it called? I think it was Power Stones, something like that. Was it Power Stones?
Power Stone, yes, by Capcom.
Power Stones was also
Stone,
great.
yeah.
That was also great on Dreamcast. But the best fighting game came out of there. Oh, you guys did not mention Tekken. Tekken was actually back in the day. Tekken, that was also
Tekken
a
was
good
good.
fighting game. Yeah, Tekken, and it's got a huge follow up. People love that game. They haven't brought back Tekken anymore. That's another game that this
Tekken 7, which became a platform, and they added.
Yes. Yeah, because
Okay,
Tekken 7, I think they're still releasing characters for Tekken 7
Is
at
it
this
so?
point.
Yeah.
Like they're going really strong with that game. It's awesome.
It's on sale right now. I've been kind of eyeing it because I want to play as Negan.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Street Fighter, another good game.
Yeah,
Street
yeah.
Fighter.
Yes.
Oh wow, yeah, Street Fighter.
Wasn't there?
And yeah, so
Oh, sorry. Wasn't they gonna make a Tekken versus Street Fighter? Or whatever happened to that?
There was
they
talks
did make
about that, yeah.
Oh, they didn't make it. I thought they did.
I don't think they did,
But-
did they?
There's a Tekken mix or something. I think yes, there is a Tekken versus Street Fighter, but go Google it. See if they have it. It was Tekken versus something. I forgot. But let me
Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
something
Oh,
like that. yeah.
Yeah.
they came out.
And so Capcom at one point was going to make first Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and then it was going to be Tekken Cross Street Fighter, where the Street Fighter was going to play like Tekken, but never happened. They finally, I think maybe last year, a couple of years, said, "Hey, RIP," like Phantom Dust. If you're watching,
Yeah.
Miles.
Too soon.
Oh man, I mean, I could just keep going. I mean, there was so many great games that you sat down and played back in the day, man. Dreamcast, wow, we're stuck in Dreamcast. It was Bass, Crazy Taxi. I mean, for me, the game I played the most on Dreamcast was Capcom versus SNK. I love that fighting game. Oh, Street Fighter Alpha, that series was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, Street Fighter Alpha, incredible game series. Oh, they need to bring those games back. Ooh, Darkstalkers, wasn't it called?
Yes,
Was
Darkstalkers was another one.
Darkstalkers? Oh man, wow,
What is
wow.
it? What is it? The vampire Dimitri, the other
Dimitri
vampire. I think is Morgan. Yes, Morgan. I think.
Morgan.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh,
The
Morgan was
mummy.
beautiful.
The mummy. The mummy.
The Mummy, Little Red Riding Hood with the machine gun. Oh, that was
Yeah.
good. That games were fun, man. Were fun. Wow. I mean, I could sit here talk about that games. Low games. And then after that, Dreamcast.
Boy.
The year later, PlayStation 2.
Okay.
Yes.
PlayStation
The
2.
quick
That's
demise of the
yep.
Dreamcast.
That quick demise of the Dreamcast right there. PlayStation 2 came out. We started playing PlayStation 2,
No
and
slander of the Dreamcast here. Great console. People just didn't have good taste.
no,
Hey,
the
it was
thing
cool.
is,
It was ahead of its time.
it was ahead of its time,
Yeah,
and
I
also you
think
can you can do the CD thing, and you just didn't buy the game, so you put the CD and you pirated the game and played it.
You damn
That's-
pirates.
Neither confirm nor deny that part.
You're the reason the Dreamcast is dead.
Oh no! I found that out later on because I mean, like I said, when I had the Dreamcast, I remember my friend came because I was I was in boarding school, and so when I was in boarding school, I remember a friend of mine came with this thing. He's like, "Oh, you don't have this? Like here." He gave it to me as a gift. I was like, "What does it do? You put this in first, and you put this, and you get all these games." He gave me like a full pack of like 20 games. So I put this like, "Oh, this is so much fun," and that's it. Never bought a Dreamcast game again because of that. Never did. Never did. But yeah, PlayStation 2, wow, that's a whole other thing. Loads of good games. Metal Gear Solid 2, you mentioned earlier. Wow. What other good PlayStation 2 games I played?
They had a
Yes.
bunch. I mean, for me,
They
the
had a lot of
PS2
games.
had a lot
Yeah.
of quirky. So I don't know if you remember a game when Midway was still making games called Psyops, where it was like you're a soldier, literally you're a soldier shooting, and you had psychic power, so you can fling stuff and burst their heads.
Yeah.
You had for me JRPGs. That was the cream of the crop with JRPGs.
Yep.
Suikoden, Vandal Hearts. Oh, Manhunt. We haven't talked about Manhunt.
Man,
That was the one I was
man.
going to mention, Manhunt. I was
Yeah.
going to get to there. Manhunt,
Yeah.
GTA 3.
oh,
Bully.
yeah,
Another
like,
game.
Def
So
Jam.
brutal.
Yeah, Def Jam
Def
5
Jam
for Vendetta.
and-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Death Jam for Vendetta was one of the best fighting games. Oh, man. And
Final
I- you know-
Fantasy 10,
10.
Final Fantasy 10, yeah.
10 and 12.
But for PlayStation, what I did was play the most games I played over than PlayStation was the Resident Evil games, of course, because I mean,
What about Crash? Nobody mentions Crash.
Crash
Yeah.
Bandicoot.
I mentioned
I-
Crash and Spyro.
He men-
Ratchet and Clank, Spyro.
No, 'cause
Nope.
Ratchet never grabbed my attention.
Wandering Door says, anybody ever? No one ever plays Silent Bomber on PS1. Did you guys play Silent Bomber?
I
Silent
know what he's
Bomber. Let me
talking
look
about. I know what Silent Bomber is. It's not a
Sounds
game that comes to my.
Let me see, Silent Bomber. Let me see if I played it. I don't know.
Yes, I know what he's talking about. It's like this game where it kind of, and correct me, Dutch. It was kind of like a more mature Bomberman in a way, the way it played. But I know exactly what he's talking about. I know 100% that game.
I never actually played it. Like thinking about it, never actually played it.
No, no.
Oh man.
Silent
wow.
Bomber, yes. That's another
Look.
niche title out there from the PS2 era.
Also, Bloody Roar. Nobody talked about Bloody Roar. That's
I
also a
mentioned
good
Bloody
game.
Roar.
Oh, you did?
What about
Yeah.
the suffering?
Bloody Roar.
Yes,
Oh,
the
I'm
suffering.
getting to
Oh
the
man,
That one.
I
yes.
was gonna get to that. The
Okay.
Suffering for
Yeah.
me is one of the best games I played.
It's still available on PC.
It still is. Oh
Is it?
my god!
Is it GOG?
I bought it on GOG and it plays. That's where I get all my old school games.
Yes.
Sure.
Oh my god, the Suffering! I gotta head back and play that game. That game was amazing.
Did you
That
guys
game was
play
nightmare fuel.
Shadow of Rome? Never played that?
Yeah,
No?
Shadow. Yes,
Oh,
Shadow of
I
Rome.
like that game. That you play as a gladiator, and you play like a chapter as a gladiator, and then you play a chapter. I used to call him a brechador, like a spire guy. It was like a little kid that he was like, I
Mhm.
think he was like son of the king or something like that, and it was like you play stealth with him. Basically, if you get caught, you die, and then you play that chapter with him, and then you go back to the gladiator, and you go back and forth. I thought that game was pretty good. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Wow.
There was a street ball. Was it street ball?
NBA Street, NBA Street.
NBA Jam, NBA Jam, guys, NBA
Yes.
Jam. That's something that
Oh,
everybody
Boom,
played.
chakalaka.
Everybody played NBA Jam. Oh my God. Oh, I remember playing those. Oh,
Shadow
Best-
Colossus.
Shadow Colossus. Yes, it's
Yeah.
good.
I
NBA Jam. Wow, I played so much NBA Jam. That's actually a game I sat down and played on Super Nintendo and the arcade. That was a money hogger. I spent tokens on NBA Jam. Oh, The Simpsons. Wow, The Simpsons arcade. Oh, I can. Oh man, that's arcade games is another story. But wow, so much cool stuff. But wow,
those Simpsons games on
NBA Street, FIFA Street
on-
2.
Yeah.
the Simpsons games on what I think it was Super Nintendo.
Hit and run. Hit and run was on GameCube.
No,
The Simpsons
no.
game.
I'm talking before that. It was.
Are you talking about? Oh, there was a Nintendo. There was
Bart's
Bart on
Nightmare
NES.
or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I like
Those
the
ones
arcade
were a
one.
lot of fun.
The arcade one's best to me.
Yes.
The arcade one.
Yeah.
There-
Yes,
there was-
arcade is always the best one.
There was a game on I think it was PS1. I know we kind of went. It was called Galarians. It was made by Square, and you were literally a kid that was put in an experiment, and you literally can basically combust people and explode them. It was really cool too. So there are a lot of cool titles.
You know what other games I forgot to mention? Legend of Dragoon.
Yes. Oh man, I would sacrifice Crazy Lou for Legend of Dragoon.
I would sacrifice all three of you for Legend of Dragoon too. Don't worry. I love Legend of Dragoon. Beautiful game. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh man. And like I said, I mean, we could say games. Wow. I got
We can sit here all day and just pull out the bangers that were there.
Yeah, because it was back in the day. You had all those cool games. Wow. Like nowadays, you get Trilogy. Yeah, there are great games too. I'm not done, but you sit there like how we get emotional when we talk about those games. You're like,
Remember
whoa, that game.
State of Emergency by Rockstar?
Yes.
Yes.
That was a cool one.
State
Yep.
State of Emergency
Yeah.
too.
And
Yes,
another
that was
one,
fun.
another one was called Urban Chaos. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
It's that was another good old one.
Huh?
Oh, we forgot Onimusha.
Yep. Onimusha.
Onimusha, Dino
Onimusha.
Crisis. Yep.
Dino Crisis. Parasite Eve. Nobody mentioned Parasite Eve, which is really cool.
What about Ninja on PlayStation 1?
Oh, Tenchu.
Remember Ninja?
Tenchu.
Oh,
Tenchu.
Tenchu was good too.
Tenchu.
Oh my
yes.
god, that was the best. Oh.
Bushido Blade.
I played a lot of Bushido Blade. I love the scenes with the bamboos. Oh man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Bamboo
You like
fights,
bamboo?
that was incredible. Yeah, I like bamboo. Yes.
like a panda. You're like.
Like a panda, yeah. But
I just
wow.
want to go back and dive into the nostalgia pit.
See, yeah,
of
because I
video
mean,
games.
we're talking this, because like I said, you guys were talking. I was reimagining when I was a young kid the games I played, man.
Yeah.
I could just go, like I said, go on. Games for me is it's
What about Metroid?
Metroid,
Kirby.
Where I played Kirby,
Mega
Bomberman.
Bomberman.
Oh,
That's cool.
what about Legend of the Mystical Ninjas?
Oh, I love that game. Yes, Legend of Mystical.
Gomen 64, and another one that I loved was Brave Fencer Musashi on the PlayStation 1.
Oh, that was a good one. Brave Fencer Musashi was also good. I have a mini Super NES there with 100 games because my friend, he told me, buy the mini NES, you can hack the Super Nintendo. So I was like, okay, go for it. And I have pretty much.
You and Sour Blow.
I have I have the Mystical Ninjas in there. Oh man, I love Mystical Ninjas. Secret of Mana. No.
Yeah. Legend of Mana.
Legend of, I think it was Legend of Mana or Legend of Gaia, something like that. Legend of Gaia.
The Legend of Gaia too. There is also.
Legend of Gaia.
Yeah.
Yes, Legend of Gaia and Super Nintendo. That was an awesome game. Oh man, like I said.
So
PlayStation 2, and after that, that's where I got my first Xbox. Started playing Xbox right there.
yeah,
Yep,
What-
the big old Xbox box.
nice.
I started playing right there Splinter Cell, which I was talking the other day. I was telling Matt for like I didn't get too much into it, but I remember the Splinter Cell, the intro to it. Oh, Halo! When you play the first Halo, you're like, wow. Halo for me on Xbox was boom. Oh, back in the day, wow. It still is right now because this Halo is actually taking all of us into it again. It actually brought us
Oh,
back
good.
into it because we are playing Halo like crazy. We have not quit playing Halo.
What about Blinks? Did you like Blinks?
Blinks. I think I
The,
played Blinks.
the time sweeper. That
Time
was my game.
Sweeper.
Blinks is Time Sweeper.
Yeah, he was this cool cat with a vacuum.
I never played Blinks. No, never. I saw it but never played it. You know what? I also one of my favorite games on Xbox, and I want them. I hope they bring it back to the backwards compatibility. Is the thing. I want to play the thing again. I love that.
Yes, John
I,
Carpenter's The Thing. That was a great.
yes,
It was on PS2, and then they brought it over to the Xbox as well.
yes. I want to play that game. I want them to bring that game back. That's actually an awesome game. I played so much into it. It was my favorite game on Xbox. Fatal Frame, man. Oh, Fatal Frame
Fatal
2.
Frame. Fatal
Oh
Frame.
man, Fatal Frame. It's
Serious games, man.
And so after Xbox, yeah, we got into the 360 era. 360 era. My first 360 game was what's it called? Was Dead Rising 3? No, Dead Rising.
Yeah,
Dead Rising. Dead Rising.
the original Dead Rising. Yes,
Original
I
Dead
bought a
Rising.
360 just for that game.
Yep, I
Just
did
for that game.
Yes, for that game too. I bought that too because I mean I'm a big zombie fan because of Resident Evil. Because Resident Evil got us all of us into zombies.
Shout out to Frank West.
Yes.
But wow, that game, that Dead Rising, and also you know what was another game. And what got me into multiplayer was Ghost Recon Future. I think it was Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
I was just thinking about it, yo. That Ghost
Yeah,
Recon. Oh my
Ghost
god.
Recon.
Wait. So Advanced Warfare, right?
I think it was Future.
Yeah,
No,
no, it was Advanced War Fighter.
Advanced
Oh, yeah,
Warfighter, yes. Advanced
Warfighter,
Warfighter,
right.
yes.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know what we didn't
Well-
mention? Oh, go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that both Dead Rising and Ghost Recon at the time, they were pushing the boundaries on the system. Call of Duty did the exact same thing, where we were having so many more characters on screen at once,
Yeah.
and that was a major milestone. Like, not only did we go from 480 up to like 720 and some 1080i, but just the amount of density on screen was so awesome. Like, it added so much.
Deus
to this
Ex.
game.
Yes. You know a game that every time I forgot to mention. Did you guys ever see Saving Private Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brothers in Arms.
No.
Yeah.
I tell you, I mean, not Brothers in Arms, no.
Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor. Then.
Medal of Honor, yes.
Yep.
That Medal of Honor game in PlayStation 2, that beginning, that beach. Oh
Yes.
man, it felt just like that movie. I remember when I played, I was like, "This is like Saving Private Ryan." I played that bitch in 100 times. That was one of the best. Oh,
You ever played Desert Storm? I think it was called.
Conflict Desert
Desert
Storm.
Storm. Yeah,
Conflict
for
Desert
Super
Conflict
Nintendo.
Desert Storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Desert
Yep.
Storm. Yeah, you should run around the helicopter. I have that in the Super Nintendo Mini.
Remember the Spec
Oh.
Op games also?
You know what we never. You know what game?
Absolutely.
You know what game we didn't talk about? Maximum Carnage. Oh my god, that was
For the Super Nintendo.
Nintendo. Yes, Maximum
Yo,
Carnage.
I played that game so much, I literally messed up the cartridge. I went to my local store, video store, and I swapped out the cartridges because I literally burnt the cartridge out. That's how much I played Maximum Carnage.
Did you have the red cartridge? That was
Yes.
That was
Oh
beautiful.
man, Separation Anxiety was after that.
Yeah, Separate Side was after that. Yeah, I have those games right there. The Super Nintendo Mini. I was playing it the other day.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
love those games. Yeah. Wow. Maximum Carnage. And yeah, so we're stuck in 360 again. Yeah, Rainbow Six. And for me, the most played game I played in 360 is, which I knew that was gonna be it because I mean when I went into the library history, right there just popped up, which is Battlefield 3. For me,
Yes.
that was the most played game, and especially the one with the containers. There was a level which was on containers. I used to hide in this container with an M16, just shot everything that went by. I got 100 kills, 150 kills. It was just a crazy game. I played so much that Battlefield. Really, I did. Also, what other 360 games? Oh, you guys were talking about Clyde Parker's. Oh, Jericho. Oh man, that was a good one. Clive Barker's Jericho
Yeah.
for Xbox.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yep.
That was
Jericho was another one. Yep.
that was a good one.
Or
That was
what was that one that we ended up seeing in the movie Grandma's Boy that it ended
It
up
never
getting
it got canceled. Yep. Demonic or Diabolique or something like that. It was
Demonic.
called
Yes.
Demonic. Yep.
Yes.
demonic.
Yeah. That
Yep.
movie released, and I don't know if it was just because of the hate that came towards that movie or what happened.
I
but,
love that movie, man.
After that, dude, right after that movie, that game got canceled.
Oh man.
I was
Haters.
like, it's a sign.
It's demonic.
I was so sad to see that though, because yeah, especially after Clive Barker's Undying, and then seeing one canceled, it felt like it was almost like the death knell for those games.
Did you ever
We
play
haven't seen anything since?
Shadows of the Damned?
That's a good one.
Oh yes, yes.
Garcia Hotspur.
The gun.
Yeah.
Oh, the gun was
Yeah.
that,
Boner.
the gun-
That's what the name of the gun.
Boner. Yes, it actually turned itself into a boner.
Because it was like No More Heroes, basically. Suda.
That was a fun game. That was another fun 360 game. And wow, Dead Space, when those Dead Space came out, awesome
Dude,
games.
when Dead Space came out, it was just like, what is this? Like, it was like my alien fantasies coming to life, like the atmosphere and the tone. I was like, wow.
Dude, I just went back through number 1 again recently, and the tweaks that has, like, granted, I don't think it had a whole bunch of adjustments because they've got the new remaster coming, but even just the up-resing and stuff, that game looks so good.
Yep,
Like,
I booted up on
for a game
PC.
that came out then. Oh my goodness.
I mean, 360. Wow,
Still holds
I
up.
play so much games too there.
GTA 4. Oh, man.
GTA 4. Oh,
Man. Nico Bellic. Oh, man.
Yep.
So what's
Man.
next? Xbox One?
Xbox One right there. I got to my Xbox One. It says the last is and thought my game list was extensive, crazy. Yeah, I mean, I could. I'm telling you, Delilah. If every time we talk about games, I just sit there and just rethink everything because when these guys were talking, I was thinking about all the games. I even wrote down like my top 5 favorite games. Like, let me write them down because in case I forget. Because I know once I start talking about games, I'm gonna talk about all the games I love from each system, and it's a lot of them. It's a lot.
Is from the top 5, is My Time with Portia in there?
No, it's not there. Laser Suit Larry's in there though. Laser Suit Larry. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no!
My time with Porsche.
man.
It was okay.
Panel. We deny that entry in there.
No, yeah. There's a reason that was in the past.
I remember when I first saw that game. But I'll tell you like the 3-bit one. It was in a room at my uncle's house. He was playing the game, and I remember like it was like if you could say the correct answer, like the curtain goes up, and you get to see like yeah. I remember when I saw that. It was like 3 big graphics. It's like, what is this? I was a little kid. I was like, so I left. I was like, nah. But yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, good times. But yeah. Oh man. And
Wow.
remember Doom's gun, whatever people are like, you know what BFG means? It's like, what is BFG? Big fucking gun. Oh. You know what? We're also good PC games. Quake, we didn't mention.
Quake,
No one messed with Wohan, which was it? Shadow Warrior,
What?
was it?
Okay.
Yeah, Shadow Warrior. Oh man, also.
Oh, yeah.
Serious Sam. The list keeps on going. Which another Serious Sam came out?
Stalker.
Yes.
I did not play the first Stalker, so
No.
I played it at 12 frames per second, and it was amazing.
yeah. And those are also good games on PC. And yeah, so I went to Xbox One. And
Just
started
Dance.
Yeah, I used to be pretty good at Just Dance. I mean, I could really.
No, do not, please. We don't want to lose viewers already, and there's only a pilot episode.
But yeah, you said, but
Don't
Xbox
dance.
One, which is the last generation. I mean, yeah, Xbox One played a bunch of good games too. I mean, Dead Rising for me, one of them was Dead Rising 3,
Okay.
State of Decay 2,
Mm.
which I love. I love
You
State
mean
of Decay
one.
2. No, two.
Two.
Xbox One.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because what?
Sorry. State of
Yeah.
Decay
Oh
2.
yeah.
State
Yep.
of Decay 2, I played it. I love the State of Decay 2. For me, State of Decay 2, I loved it. It's one of my also played a game. I played the heck out of that game. What else kind of games do you play in Xbox One? Oh yeah, Sekiro, all
It's
that stuff.
Rise, Son of Rome.
Rise Son of
We
Rome,
we had
Sekiro, yeah.
we had Recore, Quantum Break.
Quantum Break, yeah.
Uh,
The list goes on, yeah.
yeah.
And so now we're back. And I also played PS4. I played God of War, which also was a good game. PlayStation 1. We didn't mention God of War. Um, what else? Last of Us. All those games. Yeah, I played when I grabbed my PS4 because I did not have PS3 because in Xbox there was so many games that I was actually back then like more into Xbox back then with the 360 because of the online because all my friends were online on Xbox. So yeah, so I played more Xbox than PlayStation. When I got the PlayStation, all I did was play Metal Gear, play the Uncharted, and I made the big mistake of selling it because I should have kept that console because I had the PlayStation 3 and you can play PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 games, I think it was.
Yep.
I had that console and I sold it, and that was one of my biggest regrets selling that console because that console was really good. And yeah, and so now we're in Series X, and that's how I got here. But wow, talking all
But
this history,
so, you know, what are the top 5 games then?
easy. I got Doom, Chrono Trigger, Command and Conquer, Resident Evil because I played all the Resident Evil sagas,
Okay.
and the last one, of course, Metal Gear because I played all the Metal Gear sagas.
See,
Nice.
that's the benefit to going at the very end. You can prep this all out because everyone else is talking.
No, you guys took all my stuff, but anyway, uh, to continue the show and make sure, I think we would need a part break this episode into pilot 1, 2, and 3 because my list. So I'm just gonna condense it as best. So yeah, my origin story into gaming started in Brooklyn. I had this babysitter that used to just pick me up from school, and one day my mom kind of had to work late, so I ended up staying at my babysitter's house. And I was in the kitchen, just eating a snack and doing something, and then all of a sudden, I walk into the living room, and I'm like, what is she playing? And she literally hands me this controller, and it's the Sega Master System, the original Sega Master System. And I remember playing Shinobi. And the day she gave me that controller was the day that my mom was like, "What did you do?" And I would literally make every excuse to make sure that I went to my babysitter's home to play Shinobi. And I used to play all the Sega Genesis games. And I remember my dad at the time, mind you, $80 was a lot in 1986. I remember my dad working hard and coming home with this Sega Master System, and it came with some built-in games. And I used to go. You want to talk about Punch-Out being hard? Try Rocky on the original Sega. It took me forever to beat Andrew Lang, and then when I got to Ivan Drago and have to start everything over again, it was literally I already had carpal tunnel, I already had calluses in my fingers, everything, and Spy versus Spy, all these great Sega Master System games. And from there, kind of like Sour Blow, I became a hustler. I had these cousins come over from Nicaragua, and I was like, yo, I got this Sega Master System. It's a really good system, mind you. Other parts of the world, this is in 1986, 87, it's not as accessible. So what I did is I sold them a Sega Master System that I paid $80 for about $120 in 1987. So I then went in and I got myself the NES. And I remember playing Super Mario, Duck Hunt, but most importantly, the game was, I remember discovering Samus, Metroid. Then we used to go to this flea market on the weekends, and I walk and I see this gold cartridge. Mind you, I'm naive. I pick it up and I think my mom paid $2 for it. And I'm on the block saying, yo, I got the only gold cartridge. Not knowing that Zelda was just, painted in gold, but thinking I had a gold cartridge. Legend of Zelda was amazing. But the game that really defined my NES era. So in my building, we had kind of like the first GameStop, where this guy on the other side of the building used to basically trade games. So I ended up getting this game from my uncle called Bio Billy. It was trash. It looked cool because I used to judge games by their cover, Bio Billy literally looked like if somebody tried to make a Crocodile Dundee game. Look it up, Bio Billy. So I go with Bio Billy and one of my other favorite games, Shadow of the Ninja. And I go upstairs to this guy and he's like, hey, take a look. And there's this title that just looks so cool. And actually, give me a second. I'm going to bring this in right here.
Oh,
What's he's coming with?
special guest.
And it so happened to be this actual title here.
Oh.
And I said, wait, Metal Gear? What is this? And I, again, being a hustler at the time, right? I told the guy, yo, I'm sorry. I'm going to give you Shadow of the Ninja. I don't want to give you Bio Billy. The guy was like, wait, no. I want Bio Billy. The dude thought that Bio Billy had a lot because I said no. And little did I know, I gave him, and he said, hey, no trade backs. I said, you're right, no trade backs. I literally took Metal Gear, gave him Bio Billy. 2 weeks later, this guy comes back still. I said, no take backs, man. No take backs. And from there, Metal Gear, for me, is my ultimate game for me. It connects on so many levels. As a former veteran, the story of Solid Snake and Big Boss. It's a game that I play over and over. And even though, I'm not a super soldier or this like that, I think the one thing that hits with me and with Snake Eater was, as a person, loyalty and camaraderie. So Snake was always loyal to the end, and it's something that always stuck with me when it comes to a lot of things in life. So I got that. Then what happened is I saw that commercial. I saw Super Mario World. I was like, yo, I need that Mario. He looks cool. I saw Yoshi. I was like, yo, let's go. And from there, I went in and I told my mom, hey, I would love a actual Super NES. And she was like, well, there's no money, right? Poor kid from Brooklyn, fortunate to still have gaming. So what I did is, the next thing I did, I used to go to my grandma. My grandma used to live in, for people in New York, my grandma used to live in the Upper West Side, a really nice area in New York. They used to have like fairs, and I guess child labor laws wasn't as bad at the time. And I ended up working in the little fairs that they used to have there at a comic book place, and I was selling comics to people, and I basically raised enough money at the time. People know Layaway. Shout out to Layaway. I went and I put this thing on Layaway, and I got myself a Super NES, and I played Super Mario World. I could literally close my eyes and I was already beating the game. That's how much I consumed it. But what's even cooler was, there was, many people may not know this, and I'm still trying to know if it's the name. There was a rival to Toys R Us called Kitty City, but instead of being a giraffe, it was like a kangaroo, like some bootleg kangaroo. Story, I don't know if it's real. Apparently, it was run by the mafia to launder money, and it got closed down. Yada yada yada. The crux of the story is my mom and aunt got a job there, and I was the first one. And before I got my Super, I was the first kid on my block to actually play F-Zero on the Super NES. And my mom used to get a discount, so I saved up money, and my mom, through her discount, got me the Game Boy. And I was like the hottest cool kid on the block. People were like, "Oh, hey, what's up, George?" I was like, "Yo, I don't know you." And I got my Game Boy, I had my Super Mario Land, and that was it. It was a wrap, right? Game Boy, SNES, and for me, SNES. Everyone here called all the games I played. When it came to one of the games that really, really defined a lot of the things for me was Super Metroid. The one game that got me into my JRPGs, besides Chrono Trigger, because the way it happened was my cousin got Chrono Trigger and he gave me this title called Final Fantasy 3, which is Final Fantasy 6. I fell in love with RPGs at that moment. At that moment, I didn't consider them reading simulators because I didn't like reading. And it was just so many Super Nintendo games. Super Metroid, I remember spending hours on there. Super Mario World, excuse me. Shout out to Super Mario Brothers 3 as well. That's another one that I did a lot of things. Castlevania, of course. Castlevania 3. Dracula's Curse. A curse of my hand, because so hard that game was. Half of the time I just walk away and just be like, I hate you. And then afterwards, after the Super NES, yes, I went to the Genesis, and I was a huge Sonic fan. I had Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic this, Sonic that, Sonic Game Gear, you call it, Sonic everywhere. Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Vector Man, Altered Beast, which is still a bad game. Cracked, no, not Cracked, excuse me, it wasn't called Cracked Out. Dick Tracy, I remember playing Dick Tracy. I had a nice little Dick Tracy hats, Dick Tracy watch and stuff, thinking that was cool. Um, Echo the Dolphin, Fantasy Star. I played all the hits on Genesis, and then I got my Sega CD. I had a friend. He was from DR, and he had money. He was older than me. He was about 5 or 6 years older than me. So he would just basically sell me his things when he upgraded. I remember playing Night Trap, Corpse Killer. There was this one called the Road Warrior or something, where basically it was Mad Max, and the way it starts is it's like this cool, like it was like a cool kind of rock beat. And all that I know is that in the beginning, this guy's getting married. It looks like a Guns N' Roses video. They come in, they kill him, and all of a sudden you're in this car through 12 goddamn levels, just running people over, fighting. It was awesome. It was an awesome game. Then I got my 32X because I was like, yo, I need to get this 32X. I need to play this Doom. Play some Doom, some Eternal Champions, some other games that were on the 32X that, again, like 32X was just like literally one and done, right? Then we come to one of my favorite Sega systems. Not the Dreamcast is, but my next one is the Sega Saturn. I love this. The Sega Saturn is basically Sega's Wii U. I remember Virtua Fighter. I love Virtua Fighter, and I'll die on this pillar that I prefer Virtua Fighter over a lot of games, even Tekken. But again, I'm not gonna say that Tekken's a bad game because it's not. I would be lying, but I love Virtua Fighter. I imported some stuff. I had Burning Rangers, was basically you play as these cool firefighters, but with animes. I had this ramp cart that you put in the back of the actual Saturn, and you went in and you like literally. I was playing the imported version of Marvel vs. Capcom, Children of the Atom. Panzer Dragoon Saga is one of the best RPGs that I need Sega to bring back. I don't care if you give me the same one with the jankiness, but you need to bring Panzer Dragoon Saga back. One of the best RPGs. After the Saturn's demise, unfortunately, I'm skipping everywhere. N64. My mom surprised me with the N64, and I got all those 120 stars. My paychecks were going to N64 games. I went 2 hours to get Mortal Kombat Trilogy to the mall. I got Wayne Gretzky. I got Cruising USA. I was playing Sin and Punishment. The awful Donkey Kong Country 64. All those type of games I was doing. Jet Force Gemini, and of course, since we don't have a lot of love, I had the GameCube. I actually sold, for people that like football. I sold the GameCube to Lawrence Taylor, which we're not going to talk about because there's stuff in the news about him. But Lawrence Taylor came to my GameStop when I worked at GameStop, and I sold him and some of the New York Giants, GameCubes. Eternal Darkness. Yep. My God, what a game! Eternal Darkness, and I still have it here on my GameCube. It's one of the most phenomenal games by Silicon Knights, who also made Metal Gear Twin Snakes, which was just a reimagining of Metal Gear Solid 1. Played Bait Coats. It was like an RPG, card RPG and everything. Phantasy Star Online, the card battle game. We had all these amazing games on the GameCube. Second Sight was one made as well, which was pretty cool. Time Splitters. Shout out to Metroid Prime Trilogy, all the bangers. Mario Kart Double Dash is still a good Mario Kart. All those games on the GameCube. So fast forward after playing all those bangers. On the PC side, I used to dabble back and forth. Half-Life was the first PC game I ever played, and I was like, wow, this game is dope. I then started playing games like Fear, which is a great franchise that I'm replaying. I'm going to actually write an article on that. Fear, First Encounter Assault Recon. The minute I saw that I can't remember, it was on a TV, and I was like, is this an actual game? I was just like, wow. Fear was phenomenal. It had a great story. It was basically the best way I keep putting it to everyone. What if Max Payne crossed over with The Grudge? Because you have the bullet time, you have destructible stuff, and then you have all the weird kind of, I guess, more Japanese influence type of horror. Fantastic game. I highly recommend anyone who likes actual horror games, FPS action. It still holds up. Even the structural environments, the firefights, amazing. Shout out to Fear. on top of that, another game that got me into PC was Vampire: The Masquerade Redemption. Holy moly!
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that. Sweet Christmas, like Luke Cage says, right? You play as this dude back in like medieval times that literally was a Templar, gets bitten by the vampires, and it's all. Think of Vampire: The Masquerade as The Godfather, but with vampires, like a mafia movie, right? You have all these factions. You have the lowly Nosferatu ones that are like the bootleg, the ghetto vampires. Then you have the high class, kind of Illuminati kind of vampires. The game takes you from that time and puts you 100 years later when you wake up and you're in present and you literally you're trying to hunt down. That game changed my life for me, and I keep praying that Masquerade 2 gets made, or Bloodlines 2, excuse me. That System Shock is another game, which for some of you that may not know, System Shock is actually the original BioShock. Unfortunately, I think EA or someone owned the name System Shock, so EA could not call it System Shock, so they had to make it BioShock. System Shock is made by Looking Glass, one of the most amazing developers that literally went down. Kevin Levine used to be part of that team and actually became Irrational Games, and that's why we get BioShock. Okay. That was another game that was great. So this is not a System Shock or BioShock podcast, so I apologize. I just get so excited into that. PC, again, I remember I used to do. I know I was being a hypocrite. I used to do this thing to go to EB Games. I used to use my dad's credit card, buy the games. I used to make a copy of them, and then after that, return them. Poor kid from Brooklyn trying to make sure he plays those games. Rainbow Six. Oh man, I remember just planning everything and just like, okay, I'm gonna get my guy over here. Amazing. Suikoden on the PlayStation was great. I love Suikoden. Suikoden 2. Vandal Hearts, one of the most games that I want to play again. And I was always like, I know I'm jumping around compared to everyone because I know we're short on time, so I want to make sure that we respect our viewers' times. But the PlayStation 1 made me go and literally ask my dad for a PlayStation. When I saw that Resident Evil, just like Lou was saying, I was like, yo, I need to be there. I need to be Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine. Let's go all day. And then Metal Gear, because Metal Gear was originally supposed to be on the N64, but since they went to cartridges, and I read this in Game Fan, Kojima said, nah, man, I'm going to go and make my movie because I want to make interactive, and PlayStation is the best way to do that. Similar to what happened with Final Fantasy. And, I played everything else, The Suffering, all those games out there. Then on the PS2, I remember playing Dark Cloud. That was another one that we didn't mention. Deception was cool. Deception was this game where you played as this character, and your whole thing was to lay traps for the people that invaded your home. So sometimes you bear traps and you kill them. It was really cool. Clock Tower.
I was thinking about Clock Tower right now.
Clock Tower
had that in my head.
is, to me, I love those games. Even more niche is D. That's the name of it, D. And it was literally a more kind of like FMV where you played as this girl and this whole plot. They made multiple ones. They made one on the Dreamcast that's good. GameCube wise, Killer 7 was another fantastic game I played. No More Heroes. Lollipop Chainsaw, which I think they're re-releasing, so I want to play that. I love these weird Suda games, but they're just awesome for me. I know what they are. They're just video games of just all these mashups put together. And what happened is, again, I worked at GameStop right through all these different eras. I remember playing the Sega Dreamcast, playing NBA. I was at the 34th Street Mall in New York City, waiting outside EB Games, got my Dreamcast, NBA 2K. That got me right there. When I saw Patrick Ewing, I was like, yo, this character sweats as much as Patrick Ewing in real life. Let's go. Let's play some Dreamcast. NFL, Space Channel 5, Crazy Taxi, Shenmue. Here's my thing. If Shenmue didn't exist, we would never get Kiryu and the Yakuza series. Because technically, Yakuza is a much better version of Shenmue and a much better game overall. We had also Ill Bleed, which was like this horror game that's supposed to kind of it was supposed to emulate like it felt your heart rate. So depending on what you did, it kind of make your choice. It was something I played at E3 at the time. It was called not E3. Was it E3? Yes, I think it was at E3. I can't remember. So I played it somewhere. Ill Bleed, and the Dreamcast also had some great RPGs. Record of Lotus War. Oh, I can't forget the one Resident Evil game that's awesome. Shout out to Code Veronica, the GOAT of Resident Evil games on the Sega Dreamcast. Again, if Miles sees this, yep, it is the GOAT of Resident Evil games on the Dreamcast. Shout out to Code Veronica. It doesn't play well anymore, but hopefully they make it again. So this big thing, this kiosk comes in, and this guy named Ernesto, I remember he was Puerto Rico, and I used to love talking to Ernesto because I always flustered him, right? He goes, hey, Microsoft's making a console. I was like, okay, is it going to run like Windows? I was like, I already got a PC. They put the kiosk, and all I keep hearing through the entire goddamn day I've worked, I was like, damn, this goddamn Halo, man. And I said, you know what? The guy next to was like, watch, you're gonna regret everything you've been clowning me about. So I take my break. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna eat. I'm not hungry. I put my hoodie on. I took some, Coke I had in the back, and I go and I grab the Duke. An hour later, I'm like, oh man, I gotta close the store. I get home. I'm like Brian with Forza. I'm like scratching myself. I'm like, yo, Halo. All I hear is like, I'm like, yo, Master Chief is like there looking at me like, yo, what's up? And then I turn on the N64 and I'm like, what is this? I literally took my N64 the next day on my day off, bring to my store, and I traded the goddamn N64. Came back with Halo, and that was a wrap. I mean, it was literally Halo all day, all night. Like, hey George, what do you want? No, Halo. Hey, Halo. Hello. So it was just Halo. I remember going to my friend Rick's house, getting the LAN parties, being all there. Oh man, it was awesome. And what I loved about the Xbox platform, even though I play on everything, even today, is that it was very reminiscent to PC. But a lot of the titles that were on there, I also was able to discover games that I would never would have played. Deus Ex, Invisible War. After playing Deus Ex on the PC, phenomenal, great. Thief, Stubbs the Zombie, Rebel Without a Pulse. You got Cold Fear, which nobody remembers, which is basically Resident Evil on a boat. Otagi, Gun Valkyrie, all these amazing hits that were on there. And I was just like, yo, I'm loving this. Xbox Live. I can't even start about Virtual On, playing Duke Nukem on the Sega and putting that little thing for the modem, all that stuff. And it was just, this is it. This is the platform I wanted. And I started seeing more of the fact that I love the games that, you talk about KOTOR. What's the other one? The one that they made that's like, that's similar to KOTOR, which is, it has to do with mythological and this kung fu. Jet Empire. Thank you.
Yeah. Delilah saved you on that one.
Thank you, Delilah. Appreciate it. She knew what I was talking about.
Yep.
It was just I was like, yo, this is where I'm at. This is it. And then when we entered the 360, I literally, right, I was in the military, right? My 360 can tell you so many stories if it was still here. Right? I remember packing up my car, driving cross country. At the time, mind you, we don't have that cool 1S screen that they're selling, right? I bought this bootleg one that was back in the day that you could barely see, right? I was like this, like you thought the Switch was bad, right? With text. I remember in my bunk at night, people were like, yo, don't we gotta get up in the morning? Yo, don't worry about my sleep, man. And I remember playing Tomb Raider Legend. I remember playing Elder Scrolls. Literally till like 1 in the morning, and then getting up to go do exercise like at 3, 4 in the morning. And my 360 was like, I had to go get a TV. I went and I bought a Westinghouse, which used to be good, right? And I got this nice HD TV. I set it up. Funny story about my 360, right? I had surgery on the day my 360 came out. And my friend took me. I said, take me afterwards. So, mind you, when I got out of the hospital, I told them I was good, but I didn't even know where I was at, right? So I remember just taking my friend who was a military police, taking me down to the nearest GameStop in Virginia, where I was living at the moment, and I had a screwdriver in my cast. I was like, hey, nobody's gonna have fun tonight if they take my 360. Um, and I go to the store, mind you, I paid for all that. I got Gun. Remember, you guys remember Gun, which is like a bootleg Red Dead Redemption. Um, and all I remember is I wake up the next day. It was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I wake up, and then I'm looking at the 360. I'm like, how did I get the 360? I didn't remember how I even went to the store. But then I just sit down, I plug it in. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Hey, let's go play. The 360 had amazing games. Condemned. We talked about that already. Um, Gears of War. Come on, Gears of War Judgment. I love Gears of War Judgment. And all the time, the 360 was basically everything I wanted. That continued ecosystem, that consistency of titles, and just overall, we just started to see what Microsoft wanted to do with Windows for years, little by little, kind of the crumbs, right? Then, of course, we get to the Xbox One era, right? And I'll tell you a quick story as we continue, as I get to my final thing. I like I said before, I work at Microsoft. I'm an Xbox customer success manager, but I worked prior to that. I worked at the Microsoft store. That's where I started my career in Microsoft, right? I remember the Xbox One launch, and I was hyped, right? 360 was great. Xbox One came, and then I look. First thing that pops out is Kojima with Metal Gear 5, The Phantom Pain. I was like, let's go. Kojima coming to Xbox. Thank you. Let's go. Then from there, it was like, you know how when you see like a boxing match or like a sport, right? You're like, yeah, my team's doing good. First score, they go on a 10-0 run. And then all of a sudden, it's like, what the hell just happened? They turned to like the New York Knicks all of a sudden, like people getting dunked on. I was just like, what is this? And it's funny because I have one of my coworkers to me, and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, yo, you clap one more time? Dude. I was like, are you like blind? Again, I understand. Love Microsoft, pays my paychecks. But when I saw what was there, I was just like, I don't know about this. So, later go on. I said, you know what? I'm in the moment. I'm passionate. Let me go sink back in. I love the titles they showed. So and behold, I think I signed up for something and I got to go to the PlayStation Sony theater to watch the PlayStation event. When I see the beginning of that show, it was like a team came on the like when a team came on the field and then you just punched them on. That's it. It was done. You're like, later, peace, bye, thank you. I was just like, wow. It was like when Michael Jordan was dunking on Dikembe Mutombo. I was just like, Jesus. And it was rough. I did get a PlayStation 4 because I did get a PlayStation 3. Resistance: Fall of Man is one of my favorite games. Infamous, which I have a tattoo from my ribs all the way down to like my hip. Cole is one of my favorite characters. Last of Us 2 is one of my favorite games of that generation, and it continues to be. Even Last of Us 2, despite what people want to say, I've said it here, I've said it on a podcast. I've never had a game make me feel so worn down of taking people's lives, or the impact it made me feel, or even give me the feeling of what it feels like if you really hated something and wanted to, and you're like basically blinded by rage. So Last of Us to me is a special title. PS3. Funny story about the PS3, right? So I was in Kuwait and I was heading back. I was helping military. What they used to do is they used to bring these like portable trucks so people can buy electronics and stuff. I helped do all this, clean the crappers, all that, right? We had a raffle and I won the Wii. The dude next to me won a PS3. He was like, yo, can you do me a favor? He was like, I'll pay you $100 if you give me that Wii, and I'll give you the PlayStation. Mind you, the PlayStation, the model that he had was the $600 one, the top of the line one. I said, why not? I really wanted more the PS3 because I didn't want to buy it. So he gave me, and I found out my mother got a Wii for me. So again, George hustling, right? And I lit a sure. And I got the PS3 like that way. And I built my catalog. And they had some fantastic games, some RPGs as well. So then the PS4 had some great games as well, and it was just bang of Persona and all these other cool games that came out on there. God of War, that was awesome. God of War to me is amazing, and I think I was talking on Risk It for the Biscuits podcast about this. Is that I couldn't relate to God of War at the time because I didn't have a son, and I wasn't a parent. But later on, when I replayed it again, I'm gonna play it again. I could, and to me, God of War reminded me of two movies. It reminded me of Denzel Washington in Man on Fire, and it reminded me of Logan, where you have this seasoned, kind of worn down Kratos trying to literally be a father and kind of right the ship wrong because throughout the other games, he was just pissed off and wanted to kill every single god. You looked at him bad, he was like, "I'm gonna rip your face." So those are some of the amazing games I played throughout, every generation. I've been fortunate that I had almost every. I had the Sega Nomad. I had a Virtual Boy. Thank God I can still see. I didn't go blind by that. I've always wanted games, and I didn't care what box they were on. I just wanted to know how can I get the box or who can I lend it. If one of my friends had it, so I could. Atari Jaguar. I bought a Jaguar just to play Alien vs Predator. I bought a Jaguar just for that game. It was in Massachusetts. It was literally in the dumpster for like $2 or something, $25, and I literally took it out of the dumpster and said, "Hey, can I buy this KB Toys?" And I bought
Worth it.
Alien vs. Alien. That's the only game I played. Alien vs Predator. And finally, right, I came in Xbox One, played all those games, and to kind of not harken a lot. Everyone here at some point has seen the documentary. Yeah. If you look at the PS4 and you look at the Xbox Series X, it's the same thing. It's just poor messaging, but the vision was there. We all at one point, we still have people that want to be collectors, and that's fine. They're for the collectors, but we're all digital, right? In a way. We have this always online connectivity, and I understand as well that not everywhere has good connectivity, but it was just a bad vision. It was a good vision, just executed poorly.
Yeah.
And the Xbox One, and the reason I asked Brian earlier is that, do I like graphics? Yes, and I'm not gonna lie. That's why sometimes when I'm buying a lot of my PlayStation games, I'm buying it on PC as well because I want right. But honestly, it's crazy that you can buy a $300 or $500 box or whatever console right now, the pricing, right? And you're getting the performance that someone maybe spent $1,000, $2,000. If you're good at budgeting, you can get a good PC. You don't have to spend $3,000 to get a really good PC to run games, right? But it's crazy that these boxes, and to me, the biggest thing is the 60 FPS. I beat Halo, right, on PC, 100%. Now I'm playing on Xbox. I put that at 120 frames. I was just like, am I really seeing this on a console? Yeah. And to me, it's always been, yes, graphics immerse you, right? Yeah. But to me personally, and everyone has their own preference, it's all about gameplay. Yes. And then the graphics are just that cherry on top. But a lot of the games I played recently, I keep saying it in every podcast, and I'm pretty sure if Dutch is there, he'd be like, I'm pretty sure he's going to say, No More Heroes 3. That game runs at 20 frames per second on the Switch. Amazing, fun game. I love the toilet humor in that game. I'm replaying Dying Light, not on my PC, on my Switch, because I can sit in my, I don't do sour blow, I don't sit in the toilet, but I sit in my bed, and I'm playing that. So we can't forget about Dying Light. That's another game, but it's just those, those were then.
Another game that got in my mind real quick, Dragon Dogma. I love
Dragon Dogma, yes, and I got that on the Switch too. Dragon's Dogma is legit, man. Yeah. Pillars of Eternity, that's another game I love. Baldur's Gate 3 is on there. PC wise, I've played Mobile Shogun Armor. Think of it's an anime game. Think of Zone of Enders in a first-person shooter. It's an old PC game. They also had a game called Blood, if you remember, and they made a bunch of them. Blood was amazing. Wow, yeah. Quake Arena, Quake 3, Quake 4. Shout out! I want Quake 4. If my boss is hearing, Phil Spencer, please make Quake 4. And Quake 4 was awesome. and even on the PC side, I played all these niche games: Blade Runner, Grim
Mhm.
Fandango, Day of the Tentacle, um, Silent Hill. We keep on forgetting. I remember Silent Hill. I remember my mom hit me with a chancleta the other when I'm playing that. I remember playing it. I went to sleep. I thought I had some of the bugs there in the game. She hit me with the slipper, and she was like, "Yo, the next time you play that game, I'm gonna throw that PlayStation out the window." I was like, "No, no, 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 no." And it's just great now to kind of finally, so we can wrap up. Uh, my 5 top games that define me as a gamer through everything. The entire Metal Gear Solid series. But if I had to choose one, since I told Brian, Snake Eater. I like Snake Eater.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Then Peace Walker, I would say. But then from there, I would say so Metal Gear, Halo. The Master Chief means so much to me. Not only because I was in the Navy, and that was kind of a running joke that I always wanted to reach the rank of Master Chief. I almost, but I didn't. But Halo, yes, it's also dear to me because rest in peace, my dad. When I was deployed my first time, I got hurt. Was recovering in Germany. My dad went and stood in line for 6 hours and got me the limited edition that I still have. I can't go downstairs right now. Halo Steelbook, Halo 2. I still got it there. Boom.
Wow.
Perfect Dark. We talked about it. My mom got that for me. So Halo is always going to be there. The Chief, I mean, watching Halo Infinite kind of brought tears to my eyes because I love Master Chief. I love the world, Cortana, and everything. And just, overall. Whew. Final Fantasy 6, which I think is the best Final Fantasy in the series that gets no love. 7's great, and but 6, the way it took all those characters, Kefka, Magitech, it took 12 characters and it just built them amazingly. And I'm gonna get the Pixel remakes, which are being, I guess, after the whole fiasco with Final Fantasy VII Port, they want to make sure these are good. So I'm glad they're giving some love there. So let me see: Metal Gear, Final Fantasy 3, Halo. Damn, this is tough. Oh, System Shock. And finally, I'm gonna say Deus Ex. So
Yeah.
JC Denton, AC Denton. And again, things change, but I think
I'm actually surprised. Your name is not in the list.
it's there.
Oh.
But so here's the thing. I know what you're saying. I love Perfect Dark, but when I really look at like games, and if there was a 6, it would be there. Perfect Dark's there. If you want, I'll do the elimination. I would take out literally Deus Ex and put Perfect Dark if that was the case, right? But just the games that I literally, as you noticed, Metal Gear with the trading, those games really, and I play them over. I do play Perfect Dark. I even play Perfect Dark Zero, which is not the great one, but it's still there, right? To me, those are there. If we had top 10, Perfect Dark will be there, Conquer, some other ones, right? And I guess before we close the show, what are we, excited for going into 2022? What games have us excited that we are just like chomping at the bits to play? So let's go with the crazy one.
Against what? Wait.
Huh? Yeah, what game are you most excited going into 2022
Oh,
to
wow.
play?
Starfield.
Starfield. Okay,
Yep.
nice. Anything else besides Starfield?
Wow. Dying Light. Dying
Okay,
Light.
Dying Light
I
2.
gotta play that Dying Light game. It's one of my top games in February. I just gotta go buy it. I gotta go buy that game.
Also, to just say yes, Delilah, you heard Shadow the Ninja. You heard right. Cool. Sour Blow. Let's go. What's up? 2 games that you're looking forward 2022.
2 games, yeah, because there's a lot of games coming out 2022.
Peppa the Pig. Peppa the Pig.
But definitely Starfield. I definitely,
Okay.
how I been waiting for a game that probably never is gonna come out, which is Star Citizen.
Well, no. Okay, I'm about to say Star Citizen. You're talking about.
Yeah, Star Citizen.
Yes.
So,
You
unfortunately,
just paid for an NFT.
yeah.
That's what you did.
Fortunately, that would never come out. But Starfield, I definitely hope it's a great game. I'm definitely waiting for that. And then the other one is, which I think is a sleeper for next year. Not a lot of people mention it when we're talking about what game has potential to be game of the year. But I think this one could have potential, and it's Stalker 2. I think Stalker 2 has potential to surprise a lot of people. They're sleeping on that game.
Nice. Duke Nukem. I mean Brian. Sorry. And your Duke Nukem voice. What games are you looking forward to in 2022?
Peppa Pig.
I can't wait for the Saints Row reboot, baby.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Okay.
That's gonna be
So
a
we
fun
got
game.
that. And Evil Dead ought to be a blast in time.
Oh yes, aye, that's another
Hey,
game. Yes,
Evil
yes,
Dead?
yes.
I'm gonna play with Miles, and I'm gonna keep adding Bruce Campbell to see if he wants me to donate to a charity so I can stream with Bruce Campbell. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. Bruce Campbell in a game with me, killing Deadites. Let's go.
I'd be all for it. If there's anything I can do to make that a reality, let me
Yeah,
know.
I'll be
I
all
will
for it
start
too.
pestering him as
Love
well.
Bruce Campbell. Yes.
But
Yep.
if
I
I
will.
can cheat, obviously, because this isn't coming out next year, but I just want to mention, thank God, Alan Wake 2 is finally announced and coming out.
Yes.
I'm very happy about that.
I'll save my Sam Lake story for the next podcast because I got to talk to Sam Lake and got some cool tidbits. Me, since I like the fact that most of you mentioned the games that I'm going to be playing. One of the games that I've been waiting for is Atomic Heart. I cannot wait to play Atomic Heart. That is on my list. I am not going to say God of War because I don't think it's coming out. So another game has to be Arcane's Redfall.
Mm-hmm.
I love vampires. I want to go out and hunt vampires. It reminded me, that trailer, of, remember that The Strain? It kind of gave me the vibe just from the trailer. I don't know why. But if I can get something like that where I'm just like got my characters here and I'm hunting these people down to try to, kill these vamps, I'm down for that. So Redfall and Atomic Heart will have me excited.
Nice.
So I saw Dutch say that we're going kind of lengthy with Iron Lords, and I want to thank I want to thank everyone that tuned in.
Yes.
I think this episode, I think it went a little bit further, but I think we wanted to really let the people that tuned in to kind of give our background to why we want XBI, our love for gaming, and it's the people that come and watch that are going to define what XBI is going to be, of course, as we continue to evolve it. But we definitely are excited, and I hope that more people come in and tune in. I want to make it a place where, very inclusive and diverse, where people can just come in and just rock out with us in the chats, and even I guess we have to come up as well as how we can have people answer questions so we can read them as well in the chat. So this has been great. It's finally happening, guys.
Oh yes. I cannot wait.
Chat.
Thank you, chat. Really, thank you so much, chat. Really, thank you for joining us for a 3-hour run, which we were actually gonna do 2 hours, but we went 3. We had so much things to talk about. So we already set the date, right, guys? The date is all set for January 12th. It's gonna be our very first episode of Xbox Internacional. Yes, Xbox International.
Yep. Hopefully they pick up the pilot.
Yes. So let's
wait. Before, where can they find us? So let's start with Brian.
I was gonna go there. I was gonna go there.
Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go.
So
Ready, back.
Wait. Okay. Let me get rewind. Okay.
All right.
So, Sourblow, where can we find you, brother?
You can find me at Sourblow Gaming. I got a Spanish channel, Spanish gaming channel. We got a podcast every Tuesday called The Gaming Lobby. You could go support, even if you don't know Spanish, but that really helps. We're trying
Google
to build
Translate.
the Spanish community. Brian is pretty great at that, actually, with Google Translate.
Google Translate for the win.
You can find me on Twitter, SourBlow18, and that's also my Xbox gamer tag, SourBlow18. And yeah, basically that's me right there.
Yeah, pretty cool. So, where can we find you, Mr. Silent Cipher, Mr. Duke Nukem, Mr. Master Chief Voice? Where can we find you, my dear brother?
You can find me at Silent Cipher on Twitter. And you can find me Silent Cipher on Xbox Live. I'm always around. I might not be showing as online, depending on what's going on at the time. But if you ever want to play some games, if you want to play some Forza, I am there.
If you ever want to play with him, just say Forza in the chat.
Forza, that's it.
If you say Forza,
it's like Candyman. If you say Forza 3 times, he just appears like Candyman.
Or like Psychonaut 1 when he uses the bacon to bring out what's his name? The old dude.
No.
He used the bacon and the old dude pops out. That's Brian right there.
Yep. It's my bat signal. It's my calling card. So if you ever want to play Forza, or if you want to play anything Xbox, or even just want to chat on Twitter, feel free to reach out. I'm always around.
Awesome. And now, my enemy, my arch nemesis, my Will Wheaton, but my brother though, Mr. Joanna Dark, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me trolling Crazy Lou on Twitter at big_N_boss. That's Big N Boss. And I'm always on there just posting random stuff and just kind of making fun of Crazy Lou and his crazy videos. And if not, you can catch me in a bunch of chats on all these amazing podcasts that we all listen to and part of communities. But yeah, or on Xbox, I am the Dark Knight 08. You can catch me there. And unlike Brian, I'm down to play anything. Except Fortnite.
He calling you out, Brian.
Jeez. Harsh. I'm willing to play everything too, even Barbie Wild Horse Adventures. Okay,
Oh my God.
I'm okay with it.
Barbie Wild Horse Adventures. God, what kind of name is that?
You can play that co-op. You know, it'll hurt, but I will be willing to do it.
How do you even know it has co-op?
But wait.
What about
neither
you, Crazy
confirm
Lou?
nor deny.
Where can we find the twerking NFT of Sansalou?
The crazy one. Where can everybody find the crazy one? Easy. You guys can find me at Twitter in Crazy Louie Gaming, and also at my channel, Crazy Louie Gaming channel. Oh, yeah, it's Crazy Louie Gaming all the way in Twitter and YouTube also. And guys, remember, subscribe, hit that like button. Also, leave your comments below because we would love to receive comments and see how we did and all that stuff. Yeah, so leave your comments. We would love to hear. And anyways, guys, again, watch out for my promos over there on Twitter, and see you in January 12th for our very first episode of Team XBI Xbox International. Have a good one. Good night.
What's the date again? What's the date?
January 12th.
January
Gonna be our
12th.
day. January 12th. Don't forget that, guys. Yes, we'll be there. And chat, awesome. Love you. And have an awesome night. And thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the XBI podcast. Please make sure to like and subscribe on the way out. We'll see you next time.